we expect Oklahoma to try a bunch of different arms out tonight against Carolina. After Kyson Witherspoon got the start last night, lasted 4 innings. Then it was Gavin Jones, Bo Sampson, Michael Catalano, and Cameron Johnson who went the rest of the way in Carolina's 11-5 win over Oklahoma that's gotten us to this stage of the Chapel Hill Regional. As Oklahoma takes to the field, aside from Barfield being out on the bump, Easton Carmichael is catching and is behind the plate. Sam Christensen gets the start at first base. That was where Dayton Taki started last night. Taki's been in a slump. He's coming off injury. Christensen, who is 3 for 5 in the first game today against Nebraska, gets the start at first base. The freshman Kyle Branch at second. Jackson Willits, the shortstop. At the hot corner, it's Dawson Willis. Trey Gamble positioned in left field. Jason Walk in center. Deshaun Harris with another start out in right for Oklahoma. Game time again has been delayed about 30 minutes, so we'll get started here in just a moment. A little after 6:30, our first inning temperature, as always, brought to you by B&T Heating and Air Conditioning, family-owned and doing it right the first time every time. 74 degrees with some hazy cloud cover. The lights are on, barely a breeze, as a sellout crowd packs Bosmer Stadium for Carolina and Oklahoma. Bad weather didn't keep folks away last night, partner, and today the Tar Heel fans have shown up in big numbers again.
And this is the first time I've been down here in Chapel Hill for some postseason baseball, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's hard to keep these Diamond Heels fans away from the Bosch, and for good reason. Their team has been performing really well, and they've come to expect that out of the Heels over the past couple years.
Almost exactly a year ago when Carolina's march to Omaha began, there was all sorts of desire to come to these games. Season tickets were up by, I think, a factor of almost 30% coming into this season. That gives you the opportunity to come to these kinds of games. I don't feel like there's near as much wondering why you can't get into games this year as there was last year. The word has certainly gotten out, and the folks who have had tickets all year long have shown up in droves for the first few games of the Chapel Hill Regional as the Tar Heels and Oklahoma Sooners get ready to play a must-have game for Oklahoma, and the Tar Heels would love to have the W as well, with a spot in the Supers awaiting Carolina if it can knock off Oklahoma for a second consecutive night. As Brian Marine dusts off the dish, Kane Kepley strides to hit from the left side with the Lion King theme booming in the background. For the junior center fielder out of Salisbury, Kepley hits .288, 2 homers, 29 RBIs. Just a fantastic story for a kid that grew up in the state. Turned down an offer from Appalachian State to walk on at Liberty. Played 2 years for the Flames and is back in the Old North State. Here's Barfield's first pitch. That's a 90-mile-per-hour fastball outside, and Kepley takes ball 1. 1-0. The official Reed's Jewelers first pitch time came your way at 6:37. Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. Here's the second pitch. And that's over the plate, taken for a strike. 1-1 to Kane Kepley.
That 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Barfield must be a relief from the Heels after seeing 98 from Kyson Witherspoon last night.
The 1-1 missed wide. 2-1 to Kepley. The third baseman, Willis, plays even with the bag on the dirt. Everybody else at regular depth. Kepley's got tons of speed. He was on base 4 times yesterday. As the 2-1 clips the outer half. Good slider from Barfield, tailing away from the lefty. 2-2.
Slider from Barfield there has some late dip on it.
Barfield ready to heave the 2-2. Fastball grounded the other way over to third base. Willis fields cleanly, throws to first, and Kepley set down 5-3. Again, the liner that he hit yesterday to Willis was bobbled and dropped, and that opened the floodgates for Carolina to score 6 unearned runs en route to an 11-5 win over the Sooners. Willis handles that perfectly, and it brings Jackson Vanderbrake to the plate with 1 down, bases clear, and no score in the top of the first.
You just have to wonder what that game would have looked like if the play was made cleanly.
First pitch to Vandy. The righty takes high. A ball and no strikes to Carolina's second baseman, batting .307. 6 homers, 52 RBIs for the Tar Heel veteran. The 1-0. Off speed, and that is hammered on one hop past third and into left field. Vanderbrake digging hard around first. And a wide turn. He's sent back over to first. And the ball hits him on a hop as he retreats safely with a one-out single. Vanderbrake had visions of a double dancing in his head, but squirrely turned around the bag. I don't think he had his footing where he wanted it. And so he heads back as Coach Jackson goes out to replace a divot. And it's one out and one on for the Tar Heels. Luke Stevenson at the plate. And boy, I hear these Luke chants around the ballpark. You might want to chant, he's due.
Yeah,
because it's
really
been a while since Stevenson has put his fingerprints on a ball game.
Yeah, and going back to the Vanderbrake hit, Coach Jackson sent Vanderbrake around first towards second, and Vanderbrake went back on his own volition.
First pitch to the lefty, barely outside, and it's 1-0. Stevenson 0 for 8 in the Chapel Hill Regional. 0 for his last 13 since a two-run homer in the sixth in Durham against Florida State. The 1-0 pops outside, and it's 2-0. Despite the slump, Stevenson still hitting .257. Team best 18 home runs, 52 RBIs for the Tar Heels. Number 5 overall seed in the tournament. Again, the number 1 overall seed, Vanderbilt, bounced earlier today by Wright State and Nashville. The 2-0. Stevenson lays off a slider, down and away. 3-0. Kepley grounded a third to begin the game. Vanderbrake pounded a single past third. Stevenson at the plate with no score in the top of 1. Carolina and Oklahoma. 4th ever meeting between these two programs.
Wouldn't surprise me if Stevenson has the green light here. 3-0 pitch, best pitch he'll see.
Barfield fires. A letter-high strike. 91-mile-per-hour fastball keeps Stevenson at the dish.
Stevenson just looked back and nodded his head at our home plate umpire, Brian Marine, as if to say, okay, I expect that on the other side.
It was a tight strike zone last night. We'll see how this one's called today. The 3-1. Throw over to first base. Vanderbrake is back over there as Christensen holds the runner. Vandy 4 for 4 in stolen bases in 2025. The Tar Heels, as a team, have swiped an even 90 in 103 attempts. Good for third best in the ACC. Here's the 3-1 and an all-lefty showdown. Stevenson lays off, and wisely so. Slider outside, and Luke takes his team best 56th walk on the season. Pushes Vanderbrake to second, and the Tar Heels have 2 on with 1 down in the top of the first. Looking for the game's first run as the cleanup hitter, Gavin Gallagher, moves from the on-deck circle to the right-handed batter's box. Stevenson, entering this event, led the ACC in free passes and was number 11 in the country. Gallagher stands ready from the first pitch from the southpaw, Jaden Barfield. Here it comes. Called strike on the outside corner. Fastball registers, and it's 0-1 to the 307 hitter. 14 homers. Gallagher tied with Hunter Stokely for the team lead in ribbies with 57. The 0-1. Inside, look out. Fastball moves him off the plate.
Expect Barfield here to try and hit the corners against Gavin Gallagher with how hot Gavin Gallagher's bat is right now. And it's a tough task for Oklahoma, especially considering the power-hitting Hunter Stokely is on deck.
Barfield's 1-1. Off speed, tattooed foul down the line and left into the Tar Heels bullpen. Gallagher got a great swing, directed at foul, and the count moves to 1-2 to the Tar Heel infielder, who's only gone 6 for 7 in the Chapel Hill Regional with a double, a triple, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBIs. That's it. Vanderbrake, the lead runner at second base. Stevenson behind him at first. Christensen, the first baseman, plays well off the bag. The 1-2 pitch. And Gallagher hunting some high heat, can't touch it. Down he goes, strike 3. That's Barfield's 19th strikeout on the season, up against 10 free passes. It's the second out of the inning. And here comes Hunter Stokely. Gallagher is Carolina's best hitter with 2 outs. Stokely's not far behind. 21 2-out RBIs. He got his 21st 2-out ribby yesterday in the first. We're in the first tonight. 2 on, 2 down for the Heels, who are at the plate. The pitch from Barfield to Stokely. Off speed and high. 1-0 the Tar Heels first baseman. Stokely's average entering play today, 326. Second behind only Alex Madera, who hits next. Leads Carolina with 72 hits, 13 homers, and the 57 driven in. The 1-0. Stokely takes a changeup, veering outside, and it's 2-0 to the Big Cat from out of Wilson.
Carolina's been much more patient on Barfield's off-speed pitches. Looks like the Heels are waiting for the 90-mile-an-hour fastball and trying to pounce all over that.
Throw over to second base. Vanderbrake is back over there in time. That was Willits, the shortstop, covering on the attempted pickoff. No score, top of the first. Heels at first and second, but 2 away. Hunter Stokely at the plate. Early arriving crowd here for a game that was pushed back 30 minutes because of weather. Carolina fans primed for Tar Heel baseball on a Sunday night.
They're eager to see the Diamond Heels.
The 2-0 from Barfield to Stokely. Wiggles across the inner half. The slider makes it 2-1.
Stokely looking fastball there. That's why he laid off the off-speed pitch. Carolina's strategy here, trying to make Barfield throw the off-speed pitch for strikes.
The 2-1. Stokely took a swing and a miss on an elevated heater. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The fastball for Barfield running in the low 90s compared to what Witherspoon was throwing last night, but the Heels haven't been able to catch up to it as Gallagher just went down on strikes and Stokely couldn't touch that. So here's the 2-2 from the lefty to the lefty. And Stokely goes down on another fastball, inning over. Well, Carolina set a pretty high bar last night, scoring 6 runs in the bottom of the first to take the early lead and never look back. Oklahoma able to get off the field today in the top of the first with the Tar Heels going no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. We go to the home half of the first. Oklahoma to the plate, and a scoreless game. It's Carolina baseball from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey Tar Heel fans, this is Dave Nathan, here to remind you that revenue generated from the sale of officially licensed Tar Heel merchandise directly supports both need and merit-based scholarships for Carolina students. Next time you're shopping for your favorite Tar Heel gear, make sure to look for the officially licensed collegiate product label before you buy. This ensures the product has been approved by the university. Be blue and true, buy licensed, fund scholarships, and go Heels.
Carolina home runs are presented by Lowe's Foods, supporting home plate since 1954. Visit your local Lowe's Foods to find a different type of grocery store worthy of their Carolina roots. No score between Carolina and Oklahoma heading into the home half of the first tonight in Chapel Hill. Again, the Sooners are the designated home team playing against the Diamond Heels, who trot Aiden Houck out to the bump. 6'6", 229-pound senior righty out of Zebulon. Houck, a 5-4 record, an ERA of 3.74. Opponents hitting .229 off the second-year Tar Heel, who gets his 14th start and his 15th appearance in a game that potentially could send Carolina to the Super Regionals.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is a similar spot to where Aiden Houck has been all year. There's been pressure on him all season long as the traditional Sunday guy for Carolina to either go out and win the Heels a series, which he's done a number of times, or to save a series, and also to try and complete a sweep.
Jason Walk leads off for Oklahoma as the lefty stands in. First pitch. Upstairs, 93-mile-per-hour fastball makes it 1-0 to OU center fielder, hitting .269, 8 homers, 36 RBIs. Infield shifts around to the right side. The 1-0 pops in over the inside corner, and it's 1-1 to Walk.
93 right now for Aiden Houck. Expect that fastball to get up to 95.
Houck kicks and fires the 1-1. Drops in a changeup low. 2-1 with the shift on. It's Hunter Stokely at first, Jackson Vanderbrake at second, Alex Madera the shortstop, and Gavin Gallagher at third. The 2-1. Another good pitch by Houck as he dangles that over the outside corner, taken for strike two, and the count even to walk 2-2. Houck not wasting any time, already into his motion. And there is a foul ball that ricocheted off the bat of Walk and caught Stevenson in a bad spot. Luke, it feels like as the season has worn on, has been good to be shaken up at least once every game as Coach Forbes and Terry Joe Rosinski, the Tar Heels' longtime trainer, step out of the dugout. Luke gave him a look as if to say, I'm going to be okay, just give me a minute. Coach Forbes heads back into the dugout. Terry Joe Rosinski steps behind home plate with her hands on her hips to check on what we think is going to be a future first-round draft pick coming up in another month. So while those two talk shop, the Tar Heels outfield consists of Carter French in left field, Kane Kepley in center, and Tyson Bass in right. We've got no score in the bottom of the first. Oklahoma at the plate with Walk, who's ready to face a 2-2 pitch from Houck, as Stevenson puts the headgear back on, gets back into his catcher's crouch, and we are ready to resume. Houck's 2-2 to the lefty. Off speed, downstairs, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Just like Carolina, looks like Oklahoma is waiting on Aiden Houck's fastball and not chasing the off speed out of the zone.
Payoff pitch. Pulled down the line towards right field. That's a fair ball by a couple of feet as it bounces into the corner. Bass gets to it on the warning track, and Walk sails into second base, standing up with a leadoff double for the Sooners, who have a runner in scoring position. Easton Carmichael next up to the plate. OU with a chance to break open a scoring tonight in Chapel Hill.
Good 2-out hitting there by Jason Walk. Got something inside and was able to pull it. 95 on the fastball from Aiden Houck. That's what Oklahoma is looking for today. And Jason Walk did his job getting on as the leadoff man.
Here's Carmichael. Best average on the team at .328. Number one in homers was 17 and RBIs was 60. Houck's initial offering to the righty. Off speed and over the plate for a called strike. 0-1. It remains to be seen who's named the regional's MVP, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a better hitter this weekend than Easton Carmichael, who's 6 for 14. He's had 2 hits in all 3 games that he's played in.
Had a home run earlier today.
The 0-1. Smashed foul towards the OU dugout first base side, and the catcher down in the count 0-2. He's homered 3 times in this event, driven in 5, scored 5 runs, and he's helped keep Oklahoma afloat. Second game today for the Sooners, having already dispatched Nebraska 17-1. The 0-2. Off speed, check this swing. He went. Stevenson tags him out. And that's a big strikeout for Aiden Houck. His 74th on the season. 1 down in the bottom of the first. Heels nothing, Sooners nothing. Walk still at second base. And Sam Christensen, the first baseman, hitting third. Next up in head coach Skip Johnson's order.
Most of the time when Aiden Houck has trouble in games, it's in the first inning, and he settles down afterwards. If he can get out of this, it'll go a long way for the Tar Heels.
Houck delivers. A tad low, and it's 1-0. Strike zone side to side seems to be playing for the pitchers, but up and down, advantage who's ever at the plate. The 1-0. Houck dials up a changeup and runs it right over the heart of the plate. Christensen takes a whiff. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 down and 1 on. We're in the bottom of the first. 0-0 between Carolina and Oklahoma. The 1-1 from the righty to the lefty. Christensen handcuffed and falls behind 1-2.
Houck going to, I think, a splitter there he likes to throw on top of his fastball. It's in between the fastball and the changeup, and it has some wicked movement on it.
The 1-2 from Houck to Christensen. Above the letters, mid-90s fastball makes it 2-2 to Christensen. Hits .258, 6 homers, 31 RBIs. He's played in the outfield. He's at first base today for the Sooners. Walk extends off of second base after doubling earlier. The 2-2. Left it low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And for the second time this inning, Houck has gone full. No wind tonight on an overcast evening. Lights on. 4,000 here in the house. The payoff pitch. Strike 3. Struck him out. Christensen goes down, and that's 2 Ks for Houck. And the cleanup hitter, Jackson Willits, next up to the plate. When Houck has needed a big pitch, he has reared back and gotten a couple.
Just looking down here at Jackson Willits, he's not built like a true shortstop, much thicker. He's got really big legs, big arms as well. Normally you see shortstops, they're a little skinnier, shorter guys.
6 foot 202 is what Willits is listed as. First pitch sinks inside of the lefty. A ball and no strikes to Willits. His average north of 300 at 302. 9 homers, 46 RBIs. Was 2 for 6 in the earlier game against the Huskers. He awaits the 1-0. Good-looking curveball out of the right hand of Houck. That settles in at the belt. Evens things up at 1-1 with no score in the first. Walk doubled to lead off. Then Carmichael struck out. Christensen struck out. Oklahoma trying to get Walk around before the Tar Heels come to the plate in the second. The 1-1. Into the dirt low. 2 balls and a strike to the middle infielder out of Fort Cobb, Oklahoma.
Contrary to Jake Knapp and Jason DeCaro, Aiden Houck really likes to mix his pitches early in games. We see from Knapp and DeCaro a lot of times it'll be fastball, fastball, fastball early on. Not Aiden Houck. He likes to show his hand early, and the reason he can do it is because it works.
The 2-1. Outside of the lefty. 3-1. Should Willits reach, Trey Gamble would be next. Tar Heels play Willits traditionally with 2 infielders on either side of second base. The outfield straight away. Houck comes set from the stretch. Peeks to second base. Fires a curveball that gets Willits to swing and miss. 3-2. Another full count for Houck on the mound and Willits at the plate. Heels fans again up and at 'em just in front of 7 p.m. The 3-2 hit on a couple of hops over to second base. Vanderbrake hoovers it up, throws to first, and that fan base tells you inning over. Walk left stranded at second. The Heels get off the field and keep this game scoreless.
Great job by Aiden Houck. He went down 3-1 in the count. A beautiful curveball to make it a full count, and then did his job getting Willits to roll over to the sure-handed Jackson Vanderbrake.
No runs, just the 1 hit by Walk, no errors, and 1 left stranded. We played an inning from Chapel Hill. 0-0 between Carolina and Oklahoma. We're on to the second. Right after this from Learfield.
At Reed's Jewelers, we know that the rules of engagement were made to be broken. So don't settle for the first ring you see in the case. When you put a ring on it, make the moment your own with something that's just as unique as your love. Whether you're going big, keeping it subtle, or finding a happy medium, we're here to help you say I do with a one-of-a-kind design. Because doing things your way is what makes them mean everything. Reed's Jewelers, an official partner of Tar Heel Sports. Visit your local Reed's Jewelers in-store or online at reeds.com to chat with an expert.
Quality, affordable, dependable. The characteristics that have built the foundation for B&T Heating and Air Conditioning since opening its doors in 1988. B&T Heating and Air Conditioning is proud to serve communities across the Raleigh-Durham area for from right here in Chapel Hill to anywhere in between. To schedule your heating, whole house generator, or electrical service or tune-up, visit their website at bntheatingandair.com. B&T Heating and Air Conditioning, generators and electrical. Family owned and doing it right the first time, every time.
If you're looking to refresh your Carolina gear, I've got just the place for you. It's the new Tar Heel Team Store located at 120 East Franklin Street. Mention the code Carolina Baseball and receive 10% off your purchase. Exclusions apply. Carolina and Oklahoma going to the top of the second with no score. Alex Madera, Tyson Bass, Sam Angelo, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up against Jaden Barfield, the OU starter, out on the bump for the 18th time this year. Again, just his third start in his freshman campaign. First pitch to Madera. Lingers outside of the lefty, and it's 1-0 to the Tar Heel shortstop. Bats a team high, 330. 2 homers, 34 driven in. Madera 2 for 4 last night. The 1-0. That's down and away, and it's 2-0 as we pause 10 seconds for a station ID down the lines on the Tar Heel Sports Network. Two balls and no strikes. The count to Alex Madera as Barfield kicks and fires. A strike on the outside corner. Upper 80s fastball makes it 2-1.
Barfield's been really good tonight at dotting that outer corner against the plentiful left-handed batters in this Tar Heel lineup.
Next pitch, Madera reaches out, pokes a foul ball up in the sky. Just to our left, out of play. 2-2 as we've just gotten started in the second. Heels nothing, Sooners nothing. Center fielder Jason Walk shading Madera heavily to hit the other way towards left center. Here's the 2-2. Madera chops instead behind first base. Ball rolls to Coach Jackson. Lobs it across the diamond towards the Heels dugout. Left of the third base line, and it's 2-2 to Madera. Coach Forbes pacing around outside the third base coach's box. Dips into his back pocket, finds a piece of paper. Unfolds it, gives it a look, and then tucks it away.
What do you think it said?
I have no idea what it said because he read it so fast. The 2-2. And Madera goes down swinging on a wicked slider. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Barfield. And 1 down in the second as Tyson Bass next hit for the Tar Heels in a 0-0 game. You don't suppose Coach Forbes is one of those speed readers, right?
Who knows how fast he can read. Looks like tonight for Barfield, the strategy is slider away to the lefties, get him to chase, and for the righties, it's been the fastball up.
The pitch to Bass was a fastball, fouled off into the net. 0-1 of the Heels right fielder. Bass, .299 average, hit his 10th home run last night. He's driven in 43. All of a sudden, the kid, just with huge advertisements in the offseason, has had the bat come to life in the second half of the campaign as he takes a second strike to make it 0-2.
I can't see right now whether or not he's using those goggles, but remember, he threw them towards the dugout just before he homered last night.
The 0-2. And Bass bounces off the glove of the pitcher Barfield. It ricochets to short, throw to first, got him by a half step. A great play by Willits, who is positioned perfectly to get to that ball on the bounce off the glove of Barfield. And it's 2 up and 2 down. 4 in a row set down by the Sooners. It brings up the DH, Sam Angelo, who should get a hero's welcome after his performance last night, homering twice, scoring 3, and driving in 4.
Yeah, things you notice, too. And last night when the starting lineup was being announced, not too many people cheered when Sam Angelo's name was mentioned. And today, boy, everybody recognizes him in Chapel Hill.
First pitch called a strike in an all-lefty showdown. Here comes the 0-1. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2 with 2 down and nobody on base in the second. 0-0 between Carolina and Oklahoma. Coach Forbes so deferential to his staff in giving Angelo the opportunity yesterday as He takes a changeup low to make it 1-2. From the look that Angelo was giving everybody in the cages before the game, Coach Wiersbicky, Coach Jackson said, this is going to be our guys, the DH. Coach Forbes trusted his assistants, and look what happened. The 1-2. Another changeup outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Heels DH hitting out of the 8 spot.
It's really important for coaches to have that type of trust in their staff, to know that their staff is going to make the right calls. Can't be on the head coach every time.
Here's the 2-2. Angelo swings and drives a liner to center field, but it's right at Walk, who makes the catch off his left shoulder, and the inning is over. Heels go down 1-2-3. Madera strikes out. Bass grounds out. Angelo flies out, and Oklahoma gets back to the plate in the bottom half of the second with Gamble, Branch, and Harris, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up. For the Sooners, it is a scoreless game tonight in Chapel Hill. It's Tar Heel baseball from Lear Field.
Suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son Ricky took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcast rights granted by the University of North Carolina. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of North Carolina and Learfield.
Carolina Baseball Grounds Crew is presented by Brown Brothers Plumbing and Heating, serving the community since 1933. Our family is here to keep your family comfortable. Count on the team that the Tar Heels trust with Brown Brothers Plumbing and Heating. Grounds crew is taking care of business once again with a weather delay. Field was tarped before the storms blew through. Game time pushed back 30 minutes, but we are off and running in the second with no score. Oklahoma at the plate, and Trey Gamble takes a first pitch strike from Houck. 0-1 to the left fielder. Gamble batting .296, 4 homers, 26 RBIs. The 0-1. Fastball pulverized towards right, but foul into the trees near the construction area. It's an 0-2 count to Gamble, leading off the bottom of the second for Oklahoma. Again, the home team, because Carolina's been the home team twice before. The 0-2. Bounced low. A ball and 2 strikes. Ben, I just feel in a weird way, if you earn the better seed, you should earn the opportunity to be the home team every time out, but the quirks of this event give OU home status tonight as Houck's 1-2. Low and inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The most important part for the Diamond Heels is that they have the crowd behind them, and there aren't too many Oklahoma fans here tonight.
Houck's 2-2 to Gamble, high and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the lefty out of Alpine, Utah. Began his career at Salt Lake Community College and has matriculated to Norman, Oklahoma. The payoff pitch. Blasted high and foul left side. Gamble, the 5th hitter to the plate. Is this the 4th time that Houck has gone full to somebody?
I think that's right. I mean, he's using a lot of pitches early, and granted, he's getting outs, but just taking him a while to do so.
The payoff pitch. Gamble bounces twice to first base. Stokely gets to it, underhands to Houck, and he beats the batter. Gamble to the bag. 1 down on the ground out. Carolina fields it so well. .977 this year, 3rd best in the ACC, 35th in the country. Stokely, who missed all of last year, Houck, who arrived last year, those two look like they've been doing it for years. Here's Branch, freshman second baseman from the right side. Shows bunt, pulls it away, and takes a high fastball. 1-0 the count to Branch, who hits with one down and nobody on in the second. Heels nothing, Sooners nothing.
Guessing he'll try and push one down the first baseline where Stokely is still playing pretty deep behind the bag.
Next pitch. There's an off-speed delivery for a strike at the knees, 1-1. Houck got the fastball, the curve, the change, and maybe a splitter. The 1-1. Curveball never broke. It stayed upstairs. 2-1 the count to Branch. One of two freshmen in the order tonight for head coach Skip Johnson. Branch's average at .290. 2 homers, 32 ribbies. The 2-1. Knocked just to our right. Out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count to Branch. Coming off a big game earlier today against Nebraska, finished 2 for 5 with a run and 2 RBIs. That was a 17-1 final. Oklahoma stays alive. Nebraska's season concludes. Houck nods in approval of the sign that he's got. Here comes the 2-2. Curveball grounded to third. Gallagher shuffles and slides, throws to first, gets his man Branch out by a full step. And it's back-to-back ground balls to begin the second. And that's 5 in a row set down by the heels after the leadoff double by Walk back in the first. Still no score in the second. Deshaun Harris to the plate for OU.
Really good job by Aiden Houck since giving up that double. Normally it takes him a couple batters to settle into the game, and he settled in after just the first batter Walk doubled off of him.
Harris a lefty. Readies for the first pitch from Houck. Fastball pinged foul. 0-1 the count to Harris, batting 7th in the lineup. 304 hitter, a lonely homer, 13 RBIs. Didn't play in the first game of this event, but has played well in the last 2. As he takes a curveball low to make it 1-1. He was 3 for 4 last night against Carolina with a run driven in. And then against the Huskers today, 2 for 2 with a run scored, 2 driven in. One of those 2 hits was a double, as he looks at a 58-footer to make it 2-1 with 2 down in the second. Nobody on, no score between Carolina and Oklahoma. A win for the Tar Heels puts Coach Forbes' bunch into the Supers. A win for OU puts us right back here tomorrow for an, if necessary, Game 7. The 2-1. Fastball outside and just missed. 3-1.
That fastball's got to be just a little bit more over the plate for it to earn a strike.
Houck's 3-1. Curveball upstairs, and he lost Harris on 5 pitches. First walk issued by Houck, second base runner for Oklahoma. It brings Drew Dickerson to the plate in a scoreless game in the bottom of the second with 2 down. Dickerson, the DH, tonight for the Sooners, has hit safely in the first 3 games of the Chapel Hill Regional. Had a homer against Nebraska in the opener on Friday. 1 for 3 of the runs scored last night against the Heels. 2 for 5 in the second go-round against the Huskers earlier today. First pitch. Outside, 1-0. Houck starts him off backwards. For all the action Dickerson has had at the plate, his average is up to 307. 3 bombs, 15 ribbies. Harris leads off a first. The 1-0. Heater outside, make it 2-0. Harris hasn't played in a ton of games this year. This is just his 27th start, but he's got good speed. He's stolen 5 bases in 6 attempts. This is an Oklahoma team that's stolen better than 100 bags this year. The 2-0. Down and away, 3-0. Houck continues to fall behind these OU hitters. And this is the part of the order where he'd like to get ahead and get some outs.
Yeah, he can't waste pitches here against the bottom of the order. Needs to be delivering strikes right now.
Throw to first base. Harris dives back in with no tag from Stokely. Houck's pitch count is already over 40. We're in the second, 0-0. 2 down. Harris, your only base runner at first. The 3-0 to the plate. Fastball good for a strike at the knees. Make it 3-1 to Dickerson. The other freshman out of Lee Summit, Missouri. That's a suburb of Kansas City if you check your maps. They grow them big around those parts. Dickerson, 6'4", 210 pounds. Takes up a lot of real estate in the right-handed batter's box. Here's Houck's second look over to first base as Harris again dives back in safely. New addition to college baseball this year. There's two bases over at first. There's the traditional bag that's always been there in fair territory. Then a green base on the foul side of the line meant to limit collisions between hitters and defenders. The 3-1 curveball twists and turns and rolls over the inside corner to make it 3-2. Dickerson, by the time that pitch landed in Stevenson's glove, I think just figured it out. That was a good-looking toss from Houck.
And that's what Houck needs to be doing. Oftentimes he's a little too careful with his pitches and doesn't fully snap his wrist on that curveball.
Yet another payoff pitch. And there's another curveball. It's a dandy, and it's inning over. Dickerson left frozen on a 74-degree day in Chapel Hill. Houck rings up his third on the evening, and we go to the third. Still no score between Carolina and Oklahoma in the Chapel Hill Regional from Learfield.
On game day, there's nothing like tailgating, touchdowns, and Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea goes down smooth and tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, and a 5% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Hello, I'm Ben Cochran, managing partner at Hardison & Cochran, attorneys at law. My firm helps good people in North Carolina who have unfortunately had their life turned upside down due to an injury. We help our clients by telling their story and leveling the playing field against opponents who have an army of lawyers fighting to diminish or outright deny their claim. We're ready to help. All you have to do is reach out.
Hardison and Cochran, North Carolina personal injury attorneys, 919 all fours.
Carolina baseball is presented all season long by Hardison and Cochran. Injured and have legal questions? Call Hardison and Cochran, 919 all fours.
Modelo is proud to sponsor Carolina baseball. Modelo, an official beer of your North Carolina Tar Heels, who come to the plate in the top of the third with no score against Oklahoma. It's the 9-1-2 spots. Carter French, Kane Kepley, and Jackson Vanderbrake to see Jaden Barfield. Third career start for the freshman out of Pearland, Texas. Barfield has set down 5 in a row. 3 strikeouts through 2 innings. He's kept the Tar Heels offense at bay, and this was a Carolina team that erupted for 11 runs last night on 13 hits in the 11-5 win over OU. Barfield delivers to French, down and away from the lefty. 1-0 to Carter, 244 average. Still no home runs, 11 RBIs. French 2 for 7 in the regional with an RBI. Takes a swing and bounces a foul ball in front of the OU dugout first base side. 1-1 the count to French.
I think this fastball from Barfield has some late arm side movement that comes in on lefties, which has made it difficult to hit.
Next pitch. Down and away. 2 balls and a strike to French. As we've just gotten word, another ACC team has bowed out of the NCAA tournament. Georgia Tech out as Ole Miss takes down the Jackets in Oxford. The 2-1, French pounds a bouncing ball over to first base. Christensen, adjacent to the bag, takes 1 step and records the out, 3 unassisted. French the first out of the third, and the lineup turns over to Kane Kepley. 0 for 1 of the ground out to third base when he led off the game. No score in the top of 3. 4th ever meeting between Carolina and Oklahoma. Second time these two have faced off in as many days. The only other matchups occurred back in 2010 in the Norman Regional. OU won a pair of 1-run contests, 7-6 and 10, and then 3-2. First pitch to Kepley. Slow change over the inner half, and it's 0-1 to the Heels center fielder.
Carolina needs to do something here to try and break up this rhythm that Barfield is in. He's getting the ball back quickly and staying right on that mound and delivering.
Second pitch, fastball, low and outside. It's a 1-1 count to Kepley. One down, bases clear, top of the third. Heels zip, Sooners zip. Barfield uncorks the 1-1 on the outside corner. Upper 80s fastball moves the count to a ball and 2 strikes to Kepley with Vanderbrake in the on-deck circle. Sky still overcast at 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. No wind to speak of all evening. 1-2 drifts wide and the count even to Kepley at 2-2.
I think that arm side run is helping his fastball stay in the zone when he's going outside to lefties. That's why Kepley's been taking that pitch so often.
Next offering from the southpaw. Kepley swings and directs a ground ball to second. On the backhand, Branch bobbles, and Kepley's safe. Should go down as E4. Kepley finds his way aboard, and the Heels have a base runner with 1 down in the third. Vanderbrake, who's got the Tar Heels' only base hit, next up at the plate. Oklahoma been 13th in the SEC in fielding, 110th nationally. And you just never know when a mistake like that could come back and get you.
It got Oklahoma a couple times last night. And the word you use to describe this Carolina team is relentless. The Tar Heels will make you pay for stuff like that early and often.
That's Branch's 12th error on the season. Only Willis has committed more, 13. For a mediocre fielding team in Oklahoma, desperately needing to win tonight to play tomorrow. First pitch to Vanderbrake from the right side. Big swing and a fly ball into shallow right center field. Branch, the second baseman, is back, and as he reaches up, he makes the play. Vanderbrake sent down on the pop out. Kepley still at first. Stevenson to the plate. That's 2 down in the third. Game still scoreless.
Vandy just got under that fastball from Barfield. Didn't miss by much, but missed enough.
For Branch, how important is it to be able to make a play right after making the error?
Yeah, that feels really good. And immediately after you make an error, you want the next one to be hit to you just so you can redeem yourself and make a play. And Branch was able to do it. A tricky play with the ball spinning in all sorts of directions.
Initial offering to Stevenson, a fastball that rides over the heart of the plate. Oh, and one of the Tar Heels sophomore took a walk back in the first inning. Stevenson, 56 free passes this year. 6th all-time in a single season at Carolina. Throw over to first base keeps Kepley honest. He's stolen 41 bases. Kepley, 4th all-time. He just got out of a 4th place tie with Chad Holbrook, who'd been in that spot since 1993. 0-1 the count to Stevenson. Make it 1-1 on a fastball, tailing away from the left-handed hitter. Tar Heels, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. Oklahoma, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error. In the top half of the third inning inside Boshemer Stadium. Barfield comes set, middle of the rubber, and tosses over to first base. Kepley head first back in with the oven mitt on his left paw. And even as he stands atop the base, I still don't think he's any taller than Sam Christensen over there, who goes about 6'1".
Kepley's listed as 5'8". I don't know if he's that tall.
Kepley takes off, pitch towards the plate. Stevenson rocks a line drive to left, but right at Gamble, who trudges in to make the play, and that ends the inning. Stevenson has had some hard luck at the plate as the third goes quickly for Carolina. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left on base. OU back to the dish in the bottom half of the third with Willis, Walk, and Carmichael. The 9, 1, and 2 spots due up as we're still looking for runs on a Sunday night in Chapel Hill. This is NCAA Tournament Baseball from Learfield.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I envisioned a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Tonight's broadcast is presented by Allen Tate Realtors. Whether you're buying, selling, or staying in your current home, Allen Tate can help. Get a home physical scheduled today. Allen Tate Realtors is the #1 real estate company in the Carolinas and a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Dave Nathan and Ben Mihaljevic, your proud broadcasters of Carolina baseball. Heading into the bottom half of the third, Oklahoma at the plate with no score. Dawson Willis leads off from the right side, hitting .229 in his junior season, 5 homers, 39 RBIs. Aiden Houck on the mound for the Tar Heels, trying to see this bunch into the Supers for a second consecutive season. First pitch fastball outside, and it's 1-0 to Willis. Houck's last appearance came against Florida State in the ACC Baseball Championship. It was Houck's only appearance out of the bullpen this year. The 1-0 beat him with a fastball, and it's 1-1.
Interesting strategy there for Coach Forbes. He said going into the tournament that if they won the first game, he was going to make sure Aiden Houck threw in that tournament, and that's why Houck didn't throw yesterday, is because Carolina was guaranteed a third game.
1-1 curveball blasted high and deep to left field. French is back at the track. That ball's over the wall and gone. Willis homers for the 6th time this year, drives in his 40th run, and Oklahoma's got the early advantage on Carolina, 1-0 in the bottom half of the third.
Houck just hung a breaking ball there, and Willis waded back and crushed it out to left field. There's nothing more to it than that.
11th home run that Houck has served up this year. Nobody on the Tar Heel roster outside of Houck has any more than 6. Back to the top of the order and walk. The lefty moved off the plate by a fastball inside, 1-0. Oklahoma leads 1-0 in the third with nobody down. The Sooners need to win to play again this year. The 1-0. That's popped up third base side. Gallagher finds the bricks, and the ball finds the seats. Out of play.
Oh, good catch out there.
Yeah, halfway up in the seats. Ball turns into a souvenir and a clean play. 1-1 the count to walk. He doubled in the first. 2 extra base hits for Oklahoma. The 1-1. Drops low on the curveball. 2-1 the count to walk. Gallagher, respecting his speed, plays in on the infield grass at third base with the 2-1. At the waist, called a strike. 2-2 to the Georgia product. Next pitch. Strike 3, swinging on a pitch that was low and outside. Stevenson throws down to Stokely at first. 4 strikeouts in the game for Aiden Houck. That's the first out in the third inning. Oklahoma 1, Carolina 0. Easton Carmichael next up to hit for the Sooners.
Solid job by Aiden Houck there to bounce back after serving up the home run.
Righty-righty showdown on Bryson Field as Houck kicks and fires. A fastball outside. 1-0 to Carmichael, who was the first strikeout victim of Houck in the first. We're in the third. A home run by Willis has given the Sooners a 1-0 lead. The 1-0. Good off-speed pitch by Houck induces a swing and a miss by Carmichael.
Scouting
1-1.
Scouting report on Oklahoma says that the Sooners can be a little jumpy at the plate. So if Houck starts locating his off-speed well, look out.
Well, that's not off-speed. That is all speed. The fastball right down Franklin Street, taken by Carmichael, moves the count to a ball and 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the third. Heels down a run, 1-0. Houck sends the next pitch. Low, 2-2 to Carmichael. Third-team All-American last year and first-team All-Big 12 as a sophomore. Second-team All-SEC this year as he watches a splitter miss low and outside to move the count full 3-2. Feel like we've been here before, huh?
Yep, absolutely. This is where Aiden Houck has lived today, and most times he's made the right pitch to get himself out of it.
Here's the payoff to Carmichael, and that was the wrong pitch as Carmichael takes outside, ball 4. Down to first he goes, and for all the deep counts that Houck has been involved in, that's just the second walk of the game. But, Ben, despite the fact the walk total is relatively low, Houck's pitch count relatively high. This next pitch will be his 60th.
Yep, he's had to throw a lot so far, and that's because of all these full counts that he's getting in, and he's given up a couple foul balls, too, and 2 strike counts.
Christensen at the plate from the left side. Takes in tight 1-0, and Stevenson jogs out to the mound to chat things over with his battery mate. Houck was a 16th round draft pick by Minnesota in last year's draft. Opted to return to Carolina, and before we knew about the likes of Walker McDuffie and Ryan Lynch and Cam Seagraves, all these new arms that have come up huge for the Tar Heels, you felt like getting Houck back for another season was a huge get in the offseason, especially not knowing what kind of a year Jake Knapp and Folger Boaz were going to have coming off injury.
It looked like there, Jackson Vanderbrake, the captain and second baseman, just joined the mound meeting to talk to Aiden Houck, settle his guy down, and try and get back at it.
1 ball and no strikes, the count to Christensen. 1 down, a runner at first. OU leads Carolina 1-0 in the third. The pitch. Check this swing. Did he go? Yes, on appeal down to third. Jeff Wright gives the fist pump. 1 ball and 1 strike to Christensen.
Whether it was in the zone or not, Houck needed a strike he could get of any type.
Here's the 1-1 as Houck works from out of the stretch. Fastball skips inside, 2-1.
He's pulling down on the ball too much. That's why he's missing inside to these lefty batters.
Christensen didn't get the start last night against Carolina. Came in the 8th to replace Tock. He took a walk, scored a run, went 0 for 1 in the game. Again, 3 for 5 earlier today. Throw over to first base. That's got Carmichael scampering back over to the bag. Don't be fooled by Carmichael's position. The catcher can run 14 for 19 in steals this year. The 2-1 to the plate. Curveball lands outside, 3-1, and Houck is having a tough time finding the strike zone. Ben, you feel like if this one misses, there's going to be some bodies emptying out of the dugout and making tracks for the bullpen with this game 1-0 in favor of Oklahoma in the third.
Yep, absolutely. This is a big pitch for Aiden Houck's outing.
Here it comes. And there's a strike. 93-mile-per-hour fastball, belt high. 3-2 to Christensen, who's 0 for 1 of the strikeout. Willis led off the inning with a homer. Walk struck out. Carmichael took a walk. He's at first with the 3-2 pitch on the way. Strike 3. Got him with the curveball over the outside corner. Felt like a favorable call for Carolina, but nobody's giving it back. 5th strikeout for Houck, 2nd out of the inning. And Willits next to hit for the Sooners.
Yeah, you say favorable call. I say just give credit to Luke Stevenson there for pulling the pitch back into the zone and making it look like strike 3, whether it was or wasn't.
Carmichael still over at first. Stokely holds the runner, and Willits the lefty at the plate with those crimson socks worn high. First pitch bounced over to first, but foul. In front of the coach's box, behind the line, up against the bricks, and coming to rest on the artificial surface right of the line, halfway down towards the foul pole. Who wants to get that baseball? Here comes a Sooner out of the bullpen, racing onto Bryson Field to collect the loose change. Oh, the ball's in no man's land.
He just pump faked a couple fans, pretending to throw it back. That won't make the student section happy.
0-1 the count to Willits. 0 for 1 of the ground out to second. Next pitch. Fastball, knee high over the inside corner, and Houck ahead in the count, 0-2. Carolina itching to get back to the plate in the fourth. First, the 0-2 to Willits. High, 1 ball and 2 strikes. That touched 94 on the radar gun. Houck can get it up into the mid-90s. He's been sitting 93 for most of tonight's game. Heels fans begin to show some signs of life. The 1-2. Too tall, and it's 2-2.
Now it's a case of Houck not pulling down enough on his fastball.
Does he think about going back to that curveball again? It's DeCaro's favorite pitch with 2 strikes.
If he does,
why not Houck?
If he does, he has to leave it out on the outer third of the plate.
2-2, runner takes off. Pitch pulled past Stokely and into right field. For some reason, Carmichael stopped at second. He gets up and he goes to third. It's a single for Willits. Sooners at the corner. Stokely was inches away from snaring that on the diving attempt. It just got past his glove, and the Sooners have runners at the corners with 2 down in the third, threatening to score more, already leading 1-0. Trey Gamble at the plate next for Coach Johnson's bunch from Norman, Oklahoma.
Stevenson is trying to figure out with Coach Jackson what Carolina wants to do here in a first and third situation.
Coach Jackson just out of the dugout, relaying some signs around the field. Feels like a big moment for Carolina in the field to try to keep this game at 1-0. Oklahoma looking to add to the 1-0 advantage after the Willis leadoff homer to begin this inning. Initial offering to Gamble. Strike call on the outside corner. 0-1. Tar Heels also have to account for Willits should he take off and try to steal a base. He's 14 for 14 this year. Carmichael at third. A lot in play with the count 0-1 to Gamble. Here comes the second pitch. Outside, 1-1. Tar Heel fans accustomed to that strike call on the outside corner weren't going to get that one, and the count's even to the left fielder.
I mean, what it's going to come down to is whether or not Stevenson is able to pull it back into the zone, because that pitch was away.
The 1-1 from Houck. Sinks low. 2-1 to Gamble, who's 0 for 1 in the game. He led off the second with a ground out to first. We're in the bottom of the third. Oklahoma leads Carolina 1-0.
Houck's at 73 pitches.
Carmichael took a walk. He's at third. Willits just singled. He's at first. The 2-1. Bounce to the right side. Vanderbrake gets to it. Quickly throws to first, and the inning is over. Gamble's second ground out. And here's a little confrontation between Vanderbrake and Willits. Willits is fired up.
Willits pretended to field the ball right in front of Vanderbrake, and Vanderbrake understandably did not like it at all.
Cooler heads prevail, at least from the Carolina perspective, as Vanderbrake and the rest of the Heels disappear into the dugout. Willits needs a couple of folks around him to calm him down. And here's the old game of mental toughness playing out in real time in a tight game. Chapel Hill Regional, Oklahoma 1, Carolina 0. We played 3. And this one has gotten heated as the umpires come together between the mound and the plate to keep everybody in check. We'll come back in just a moment. The Heels to the plate, down 1-0 from Learfield.
Need to refresh your UNC gear? Visit the new off-campus Tar Heel Team Store located at 120 East Franklin Street in the heart of Chapel Hill. Open Tuesday through Sunday, we offer an enhanced in-person shopping experience and carry the latest designs from Nike, Jordan, Peter Millar, and more. Stop by for an official Nike replica jersey with your favorite Tar Heels name and number. The Tar Heel Team Store is your one-stop shop for all things UNC. Mention code Carolina Baseball and receive 10% off your purchase. Exclusions apply.
When you're getting ready for the big game, make sure you have plenty of Hampton Farms peanuts on hand. Hampton Farms is based in North Carolina, just like the Tar Heels, and they specialize in producing only the highest quality, fresh roasted, in-the-shell peanuts and snacks. In addition, peanuts are one of the healthiest snacks around. They are naturally low in carbs and high in protein. So before the next game, head to your favorite store's produce department and grab a bag of Hampton Farms in-the-shell peanuts, the official peanuts of the Tar Heels.
We're on to the fourth. Oklahoma 1, Carolina nothing. This inning presented by Hardison and Cochran. Injured and have legal questions. Call Hardison and Cochran at 919 all fours. Between innings, both dugouts were warned after Willits, the base runner, looked like he tried to put his hand down as ball to second base rolled right by him. He and Vanderbrake appeared to exchange words, and after both teams were warned, home plate umpire Brian Marine engaged Coach Forbes in the conversation. Now it's Skip Johnson, Oklahoma's head coach, discussing things with our home plate umpire. I don't know if either coach is exactly thrilled, but if you're an umpire in this situation, you've got to get control and keep control of a game that got really heated really quick.
Yeah, from an umpiring standpoint, that was a really good job by this crew. Just warn both teams, tell them, hey, cut it out. We're not going to take any of that here tonight. And giving the warning early shows that the umpires have control and that the umpires aren't going to let this game get heated, at least not yet.
Here's Jackson Vanderbrake, or I beg your pardon, Gavin Gallagher, to lead off the top of the fourth. OU up 1-0. Barfield's first pitch sent on the ground behind third, foul. 0-1 to Gallagher, who struck out in the first and is 0 for 1 in the game. One of the folks in the Carolina bullpen rescues the loose baseball, and that bullpen is all of a sudden filled with bodies. The 0-1 to Gallagher. Tap foul at the dish. It's 0-2 to the Heels' third baseman. The last time I remember Carolina being this heated was in Blacksburg.
Feels like an annual occurrence.
And the next day, things did not go real well for Virginia Tech. Here's the 0-2. Inside and all the way to the screen. 1-2. In that series in Blacksburg, the Tar Heels took game 1 9-6. Virginia Tech got a 2-run homer in the 8th from Jared Davis to add some insurance and win 10-6. Davis was ejected from the game. There were some words between some other players as the 1-2 to Gallagher has him foul it off into the hand of Carmichael to keep the count at 1-2. And after both coaches looked like they wanted a piece of one another, Carolina came back to the ballpark the following day and handled the Hokies 7-4 in a game that I thought was defined by mental toughness. The Tar Heels got 4 runs in the 7th to go ahead and win that game and win the series on the road. That's the kind of experience you tuck away in your back pocket, never knowing you need to rely on it, and this might be the moment. The 1-2 from Barfield to Gallagher. Slammed high, slammed deep, to the track and center, to the trees, gone. Gavin Gallagher goes ballistic and knocks another homer flat out of Bossemer Stadium. 15th dinger on the season. Team best, 58 RBIs. And right after OU let off the third with a blast, Gallagher goes yard for Carolina, and we're tied at 1 in the top half of the fourth.
And it'd be naive of you to think that Gallagher didn't have a long look at Jackson Willits as he rounded second base.
That's another Carolina home run brought to you by Lowe's Foods, who truly cares about the Carolinas. Barfield back to work and misfires to Stokely wide, 1-0. I'll say this about this Carolina baseball team. They truly love one another and will do anything to prop each other up. The 1-0 makes it 2-0 count to Stokely, down and away.
And here comes the crowd, much more engaged now.
And if this team doesn't love one another enough, this crowd absolutely loves this program. folks have fallen in love with Carolina baseball. The 2-0, Stokely whips a foul ball into the netting above the Heels dugout. 2-1 of the big cat, Hunter Stokely, who's 0 for 1 of the strikeout. He K'd back in the first. We're in the fourth. Score tied at 1. Pair of solo homers, one for each side. The offense in this one. The 2-1. Off the plate, 3-1. No secret, Barfield continues to stay away from Stokely, one of the best bats in the ACC. The 3-1 inside, and it hit Stokely. Nothing untoward. That was a changeup. And down to first goes Stokely. Third time Barfield has hit a batter this year. Stokely hit for the 8th time. And the Tar Heels, who had some trouble with Barfield in the first 3 innings, have gotten to him here a bit in the fourth with a leadoff homer and an HBP. Madera next up. Carmichael to the mound to try to calm down this freshman out of Pearland, Texas.
Let's see what Carolina tries to do here with Alex Madera. Still nobody out in the inning and a guy on. You got the power hitting Tyson Bass on deck.
Carmichael heads back behind the plate. Madera, a strikeout victim, when he let off the second at the plate in the fourth. Score tied at 1. Stokely leads off first. Christensen holds the runner. Barfield deals, and Madera takes low 1-0. Packed house tonight in Chapel Hill. 7:45 on a Sunday night. Better than 4,000 have been in the ballpark for the Heels' first 2 games. Both wins, 4-0 over Holy Cross on Friday, 11-5 last night against these very same Sooners from Oklahoma. The 1-0. Madera takes, barely wide, 2-0 to the shortstop. Madera came up with one of the season's biggest hits last year about this time, and here comes a mound meeting for Oklahoma, and that'll do nothing more than get this fan base charged up once again.
Man, you'd think Madera just smashed an extra base hit down the line the way the crowd got going for a mound meeting.
Look at this. Coach Johnson took part of the mound and hurled it towards the Heels on deck circle. Bass is looking at whatever flew his way. It looked like a giant chunk of dirt. He goes and picks it up.
There goes an Oklahoma arm again down to the bullpen, and everybody in the crowd saw what happened. I don't think Coach Forbes saw anything because he's down over at the third base coach's box. But
I'll tell you what, the evidence is sitting right in somebody's hand right now.
Yeah.
Of what got tossed that way, and that's just not the way to conduct yourself, especially given the way that both teams have been warned and how this one's gotten a little chirpy. Home plate umpire Brian Marine is out there to bust up the party, and even he's picking up some pieces of dirt off the mound. There's a huge chunk out there that the home plate umpire walks back towards the Heels dugout.
Yeah, but something tells me, though, that piece was off to the side. That's not why Jaden Barfield was missing the zone here.
I just can't think of another time where a head coach has taken a piece of the field and chucked it towards the home team. So that's over and done with, and we're back to work. 2 balls and no strikes the count to Madera in a battle of lefties. Ahmad takes ball 3, and Barfield still can't find the strike zone with nobody out in the fourth. Stokely at first, and the Heels and Sooners tied at 1. It's an elimination game for OU. The Heels, with a win, move on to the Supers. The 3-0. Strike call on the outside corner. Madera taking every step of the way. 3 balls and a strike to the second-year Tar Heel. From the D3 ranks to the near pinnacle of D1, Alex Madera awaits the 3-1 pitch. Takes a swing and floats a foul ball left side, 3-2. Madera's college career began back in 2020 at Arcadia. For his career at D3, he hit .432. hitting .329 currently. The payoff pitch, Madera fouls it up in the sky, third base side, and into the warning surface and right up against the bricks. Dawson Willis, the third baseman, reaches up to glove it. And there's the first out of the inning. There was almost no real estate to work with for Willits. Had that ball touched the net, it's a dead ball. He was right up against it. And the first out recorded. Stokely still at first. Game still tied at 1, and Tyson Bass at the plate from the right side. First baseman Christensen holds the runner. Everybody else at regular depth. There's a big swath of real estate open on the right side as Bass bounces over towards third, but foul. Willis underhands to Coach Forbes, who gives that ball a look and a rub and a squeeze and sends it into the Tar Heels dugout. 0-1 the count to Bass, who grounded to short in the second. 0 for 1 in the game.
Bass is chopping down on the ball a little more here as the regional grows on. He's catching the ball at the start of his swing coming down as opposed to when he's lifting up.
The 0-1 to Bass. High, 1 ball and 1 strike to the Carolina right fielder. Willis led off the bottom of the third with a homer for Oklahoma. Gallagher led off the top of the fourth with a shot over the center field wall. Score tied at 1. The 1-1 pitch. Bass foul tipped it into the glove of Carmichael, the catcher.
And he was aiming for E-House out in left center field.
Ball and 2 strikes the count to Bass. Finished last night 2 for 5 with a dinger. 2 runs scored, 2 driven in, and the Heels 11-5 win over the Sooners. We're back at it again tonight. The 1-2. Bass cranks it high, but not particularly deep towards right field. Harris calls off the second baseman and drops it. It's on the ground and right. He picks it up and throws to second base. Stokely, what do you do? He's out, but another nervy moment around the field for Oklahoma. Bass safe at first. Stokely out at second. 2 down in the inning. And Sam Angelo next up at the plate for Carolina with our score tied at 1 in the top half of the fourth.
How do you score that there, Dave? A fielder's choice 9-6?
That'd be my best guess. Not the way Oklahoma drew it up, but it plays. First pitch to Angelo, a lefty. Off speed. Zinged high and foul left side. Over the Heels bullpen, out of play. So yes, 9-6 is how that is indeed scored. Show up to the ballpark, witness something you've never seen before.
That's the beauty of baseball, isn't it?
The 0-1 to Angelo, who's 0 for 1. High, 1-1. And of things that I've never seen before, Vanderbilt hit a ground rule double with runners at first and second, down by 2 runs earlier today. Only the 1 run could come in from second. Cost them a chance to extend the game. Vandy out tonight.
Cost them their season.
Against Wright State. The 1-1. Angelo bouncing ball right side. It goes right over the front of Bass to the second baseman, Branch, who throws Angelo out at first. And everybody keeps their mouths shut coming off the field after the Heels get 1 run on 1 hit. No errors, and a runner left stranded in the top of the fourth. Gavin Gallagher's knotted this game at 1. Oklahoma to hit in the home half of the fourth. Branch, Harris, and Dickerson, 6, 7, and 8 spots do it for the Sooners when we come back from Lear Field.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart.
heart, and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy. Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you facing legal questions after an injury from an accident or at work? Don't wait another second. Reach out to Hardison and Cochran at 919-ALL-4s. Legal consultations come at no cost and are completely confidential. If making a phone call isn't your thing, visit LawyerNC.com. That's LawyerNC.com. Hardison and Cochran, your trusted North Carolina injury lawyers and proud sponsors of Carolina baseball. Dave Nathan and Ben Mihaljevic, your proud broadcasters of Carolina baseball in the Chapel Hill Regional. Carolina and Oklahoma going into the home half of the fourth. Heels and Sooners tied at 1. Branch at the plate from the right side. Houck's first pitch roams wide, and it's 1-0 to the second baseman. Branch 0 for 1, grounded out to third base in the second in his previous AB. Second pitch in an all-righty showdown. Up and in. 2-0. Fastball just missed. Carolina infield plays Branch straight up. Outfield not particularly deep. Houck takes a deep breath. The pitch. High and tight again. 3-0. There are bodies in the Carolina bullpen, although I don't see anybody currently throwing as Houck's pitch count continues on the ascent. Finds the strike zone over the inner half to make it 3-1 to Branch. Houck's tally approaching 80 in the fourth. Next pitch. Lifted foul off to the right, and here we go again. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kyle Branch, the leadoff man in the bottom of the fourth. Sooners at the plate. Game tied at 1. 2 solo homers. The offense in this one. The payoff pitch from Houck to Branch. It's on the way. And it's barely outside for ball 4. Third walk issued by Houck, who's walked as many as 4 this year. That's a career high. And down to first base goes Branch. Leadoff man aboard for the 3rd time in 4 innings. Harris to the plate. He took the first walk back in the second. 1-1 our score in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch to the lefty. Harris looks at a fastball low and inside. 1-0.
Branch getting a big lead there off of first base. His secondary lead really took a couple big steps towards second.
Branch has 14 steals in as many attempts as Coach Gaines quickly hustles out of the dugout. Steps over the chalk on the third baseline. And heads up the bump. Not a lot of folks can look Coach Gaines straight in the face, but Houck has to look down on him a little bit. 6'6", Aiden Houck in his second season at Carolina. It's a Carolina pitching staff just getting off the bus. Really impresses with Jake Knapp, who's 6'5", 270. Jason DeCaro, right around 6'5", 6'6" as well. And then there's Aiden Houck, tonight's starting pitcher. Gets some counsel from the Tar Heels former pitcher and current pitching coach. Bryant Gaines has done a heck of a job in assembling a staff that's as good as any in the country. Best ERA in the ACC, 3rd best ERA in the NCAA. The 1-0 pitch from Houck to Harris. Shot in the sky towards shallow center. Here comes Kane Kepley, and the heel center fielder makes a routine catch. First out of the 4th. Branch heads back to first, and Drew Dickerson moves from the on-deck circle to the plate.
I think for Carolina here, your goal is just to see if you can push Houck through both the 4th and 5th innings and then get into the bullpen and see what the bullpen can do. Plenty of arms available today for the Heels, who haven't really had to use much of anybody.
Dickerson 0 for 1 with a backwards K. Takes a swing and a miss. Breaking ball. 0-1. That was a huge pitch from Houck that ended the second when he Kei Dickerson. We're in the fourth, tied at 1. The 0-1. Fastball at 94 lands in the zone. 0-2 to the freshman DH. Houck readies to fire the 0-2. Fastball slightly wide, and it's 1-2.
Right there. Not much closer, Houck can put it, to get a strike.
1-1. That's our score. We're in the bottom of the fourth. Oklahoma has one down and a runner at first. Drew Dickerson at the plate, awaiting a 1-2 pitch from Carolina's Aiden Houck. There's a throw to first instead. That's Scott Branch diving back in head first. He's safe. And we're just in front of the top of the hour. We'll take a quick station ID after this pitch, so hang tight. A ball and 2 strikes the count as Houck comes set from the first base side of the rubber. The 1-2. Squashed foul down the right field line and out of play. Let's get to that ID. 10 seconds down the lines on the Tar Heel Sports Network. A ball and 2 strikes. The count to Drew Dickerson. Houck brings a curveball. Knocked foul off to the right. Still 1-2. Some fresh baseballs brought out to Brian Marine. Home plate umpire and a 2-pocket guy.
This exact situation is something that's plagued Aiden Houck all night, really, is getting into 2-strike counts, and then Oklahoma fouls off a couple pitches. Why his pitch count is up at 85 now.
Score tied at 1 in the fourth. Another 1-2 from Houck, and that gets him swinging. Strike 3 as he pulls the string. How about 6 strikeouts for Aiden Houck? 2 outs in the fourth, and the 9 spot Dawson Willis due up next. Say what you will about this Oklahoma lineup. It's the bottom half that's crushed Carolina tonight. Branch has taken a walk, Harris took a walk, and Willis had the homer. They got the Sooners on the scoreboard in the third. An inning later, we're tied at 1 with 2 down and a runner at first. The first pitch from Houck to Willis. Above the letters, 1-0. Willis has run hot and cold throughout the Chapel Hill Regional. The 1-0. Swung past a fastball, make it 1-1.
Scoreboard says 92. That felt like a lot more.
And we could feel it up here. Willis was 2 for 4 in the opener against Nebraska, then 0 for 4 against Carolina last night. 2 for 4 again earlier today against the Huskers, and 1 for 1 against the Heels. The 1-1 pitch. Stevenson couldn't bring that back across the inner half at 94. 2-1 the count to Willis. 2 down, a runner at first. Carolina 1, Oklahoma 1, and the Sooners half of the fourth. Darkness beginning to descend just after 8 p.m. in Chapel Hill. The 2-1, half swing, and yes, he went. Derek Everett pumps the fist on appeal down to first. Easy call to make. 2-2.
One of the best parts of our vantage point up here above the plate is that we can see most of the time whether or not a player went around, and Willis most definitely went around.
Can Houck end the fourth here and now? Fastball outside, again touches 94. Count is full, 3-2. Houck has lived in these deep counts. Should the inning continue, walk would be next. If not, French, Kepley, Vanderbrake, the 9, 1, and 2 spots do it for the Tar Heels in the top of the fifth, and what's been a nip-and-tuck game. The payoff pitch. Hit hard towards the left. It's French fielding it on a hop. The runner at first base tries to go to third, and Carolina can't get him there. Throw to second, and Willis takes the extra base. Oklahoma has 2 in scoring position, threatening to retake the advantage with Walk next up at the plate. Close call at third. French's throw a little late. Gallagher heaved at the second with Vanderbrake covering, and Willis scooted in after the single.
Walk's already got a double to his name today.
He's 1 for 2 in the game. Houck delivers a curveball low, 1-0, and there is activity in the Heels bullpen. You knew it was a matter of time. It's Olin Johnson. He appeared last night for an inning. The 1-0. Downstairs, 2-0 to Walk. His double came in the first. He was the fourth strikeout victim of Houck in the third. We're in the fourth inning. Score tied at 1. Sooners at second and third with 2 down. A big moment for these two teams in the Chapel Hill Regional. The 2-0. Fastball. That's below the knees, and ball 3. Carmichael is on deck, and that's the last guy Carolina wants to have at the plate with ducks on the pond. Infield shift on between first and second. Houck's 3-0 to the lefty. Over the middle, called a strike, 3-1.
Boy, you can really tell when Jason Walk is taking a pitch because he starts backing away before the pitch even gets to Stevenson's glove.
Both runners have their respective leads. Here's the 3-1 to Walk. Outside, not even close, and he lost him. Second walk this inning, 4th of the game. That ties Houck's season high for walks and his career high. 3rd time in the last 2 seasons Houck has walked as many as 4. The last time he did it, the opponent was Duke.
Here comes.
Sacks are packed, and again, we're still early in the 4th, tied at 1, but this feels like a gargantuan moment for Carolina to try to get out of. Carmichael, a right-handed hitter. Houck's first pitch, high and away.
Stevenson set up there trying to get a weak swing and miss from Carmichael.
The Sooners catchers 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Bases loaded, 2 down in the 4th. Score tied at 1. The 1-0. Bashed foul off to the right. Things level at 1-1. Heels fans holding their breath right now as Oklahoma threatens to reclaim the advantage in the middle innings. Sooners had a brief 1-0 lead after 3. Gallagher tied it at 1 with a leadoff homer in the 4th. The pitch. Carmichael bounces to Gallagher. It gets over his glove and bounces to the shortstop, Madera. Everybody's safe, and Oklahoma leads 2-1. Branch in from third to score. Ball took a squirrely bounce as Gallagher closed on it. Keeping the ball in the infield, probably saved a run. But Oklahoma leads 2-1, and the Tar Heels aren't out of the woods just yet.
Unlucky there for Aiden Houck. He got the ground ball he needed. Gallagher just unable to pick the ball out of the dirt.
Willis to third, Walk to second, Carmichael to first.
And Forbes to the mound.
That last piece of contact still hasn't been scored. But this is probably it for Coach Forbes. He took a pretty hasty gait to get out to the mound last night when he stuck with his hurler. Tonight, he's out there quickly, takes the ball from Houck, and makes the call to the bullpen as Carmichael reaches on an error by Gavin Gallagher. So it's E5, and the Sooners have gotten runners on base this inning with a walk, a single, another walk, and an error. The Tar Heels first into the pen as this call comes courtesy of Triangle Home Repair and Paint. Contact them today and get your honeydew list done now. Olin Johnson was warming up, but the Tar Heels go to a lefty in this situation. And it's Tom Shimoleski, the kid they call Chewy. Showed up briefly last night. He came on in the 8th. Couple of hard luck singles he surrendered to Walk and Gamble before Lynch came in the game and closed things down. Carolina won last night 11-5. Today, it's Oklahoma 2 and Carolina 1. The Sooners already got past Nebraska in an elimination game, 17-1. Sooners never had any issue with the Huskers in the first go-round today. Back at it tonight. A 30-minute weather delay pushed our first pitch back to 6:37. Here we are a little after 8 o'clock in the middle innings. OU leads 2-1. And Shimoleski tasked with retiring Sam Christensen, who's K'd a couple of times tonight, en route to going 0 for 2.
In all honesty, Dave, it's not looking great for any of the ACC teams right now. Carolina down 2-1. Miami down 6-0 in the regional final of the Hattiesburg Regional against Southern Miss. That's only in the top of the first inning. Wake Forest just blew a 6-2 lead against Tennessee. The Vols have tied it up at 6-all in the bottom of the sixth, and Duke is trailing Oklahoma State 2-0 in the bottom of the seventh. Florida State as well, losing to Mississippi State 2-0 in the bottom of the sixth.
It's been an eventful day. 4 national seeds already out. The 1 seed Vanderbilt bounced earlier today by Wright State. Clemson from the ACC is gone. Oregon in the regional that feeds into this one also out last night. Georgia falling earlier today, gone from the tournament too. OU 2, Carolina 1. Bases loaded, 2 down in the fourth. Shimoleski comes set from the stretch with Christensen taking a ball outside, 1-0. Shimoleski allowed his first run of the season last night. His ERA has exploded to 1.17. The 1-0. Drifts low. Looked like it caught a piece of the corner, but it was downstairs. 2-0.
Oklahoma's very patient right now at the plate.
Christensen, the 7th to the plate this inning for OU. The 2-0. Well wide, and it's 3-0. Jackson Willits, the cleanup hitter, due up next. He's a switch hitter, so you'd expect if it's Shimoleski on the mound, he'd hit from the right side. Big 3-0 pitch from Shimoleski to Christensen. Changeup over the heart of the plate. 3-1 on the take. Oklahoma leads 2-1 in the bottom of the fourth. 2 down. Bases loaded. Heels in a tight spot. The 3-1. Soft ground ball to Madera. The shortstop gets to it. Throws to first. Stokely is there with his foot on the bag. Got him in the nick of time. There's your Brooks Wallace semifinalist, Alex Madera, coming up big for the Tar Heels in the field. Christensen retired 6-3, and that ends the inning that sees the Sooners score a run on just a single hit. There was an error, and the bases left loaded. Oklahoma is stranded 7 through 4 innings. The Tar Heels back to the plate in the top of the fifth with French, Kepley, and Vandebrake to hit. Our score reads Oklahoma 2, Carolina 1 from Learfield.
You sit in traffic now, but later, there's an ice-cold reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. You've earned this rich golden lager with a crisp, refreshing taste. Because you know all your patience is paid out in gold. You remain calm through honks, bumper to bumper, and people yelling. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Playing baseball at the highest level requires excellent physical conditioning, and keeping your home in the best shape requires physical attention too. As a proud partner of Carolina Athletics, Allen Tate Realtors recommends a home physical. We'll determine your home's value, share the latest market trends, and recommend updates to maximize your most important investment. Whether you plan to sell or stay, be sure to cover the bases with a complimentary home physical from Allen Tate. Visit homephysical.com today.
Carolina baseball is presented all season long by Hardison & Cochran. Injured and have legal questions? Call Hardison & Cochran, 919-ALL-4s.
In baseball, you need a great game plan. Same with your health care benefits. That's why more people trust Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, the state's most preferred health insurer. So put Blue Cross North Carolina on your team. Blue Cross North Carolina, official health insurance partner of Carolina Athletics. Oklahoma holds a 2-1 lead on Tar Heels heading into the fifth, and the Sooners go into their bullpen after Jaden Barfield, in just his third ever start as a freshman, goes the first 4, strikes out 3, surrenders 2 hits, and just 1 run. Ben, what's the skinny on our new contestant from Norman?
New guy is Jamie Hitt. He's one of the best bullpen arms Oklahoma has. A 2.76 ERA. He's 2-0 on the year. He's appeared in 26 games. He has thrown 32 2/3 innings, given up 30 hits, 12 runs, only 10 of those earned. He's walked 10, but 33 strikeouts as well. Another lefty on the mound for the Sooners, and it makes sense with the lefty French, the lefty Kepley, and a righty in Vanderbrake due up this inning.
It also keeps Barfield from going through the order a third time.
And I think if you're Oklahoma, you will absolutely take that start out of Jaden Barfield. He certainly did his job in holding the Heels bats to just 1 run while he was on the mound. And now that we're into the bullpen, how will Carolina handle it?
And Barfield's gone 4 innings the last 2 times he's been on the bump. Last outing against Kentucky before this one. French 0 for 1. Hits from the left side against the southpaw. First pitch down and away, and it's 1-0. One run, 2 hits, an error for the Heels. 2 runs, 4 hits, an error for Oklahoma. The 1-0. French swing and a miss on a mid-90s fastball.
A little more velo here from Hitt. He's up to 94 on the gun.
And the release looks effortless.
Really does.
For Hitt to register that kind of velo. The 1-1. Sent foul. That touched 95 on the radar gun. A ball and 2 strikes to French, leading off the 5th for Carolina. The Tar Heels designated as the visiting team for the first time in the Chapel Hill Regional. Second go-round with Oklahoma. The 1-2. French couldn't hold off, and the slider gets him for the first out of the inning.
French looked fooled entirely that Hitt had another pitch in his back pocket to throw.
To the top of the order, and Kane Kepley, 0 for 2 with a ground out, and he reached on an error. Feels like an important person to get on base. Oklahoma's got to be mindful of Kepley. First pitch to the lefty. Fastball streaking across the outside corner. 0-1. Oklahoma plays him traditionally. 2 infielders on either side of second base. The center fielder walk shades him to left center by a few steps. The 0-1. Kepley slashes a fastball foul. It's 0-2 to the Heels center fielder. Carolina down a run to Oklahoma in the 5th. Our score reads Sooners 2, Heels 1. Both teams with solo homers. The Sooners getting an unearned run in the 4th. The 0-2. Hit misses inside. That fastball at 96.
Notice for Kepley here in his 2-strike approach, he keeps his weight way back on his back leg, so he's not shifting it to and from. All he has to do when the ball comes to him is shift towards the front.
Hits next offering. Sliced foul by Kepley. More balls out to our home plate umpire from out of the home dugout, at least what's typically the home dugout. Again, Carolina, the visiting team tonight. Coach Jackson's got his hands on his knees outside the first base coach's box. Coach Forbes left of the third base coach's box. Hit first arm out of the bullpen for OU comes set. Fires the 1-2 to the lefty Kepley. Fights it off and fouls it back.
There's one thing Carolina's already doing better is seeing a lot of pitches. Can't recall the Tar Heels taking Barfield deep like this and fouling pitches off in any at-bats, really.
With one down and the base is clear in the fifth, Heels down 2-1 of the Sooners. The 1-2 pitch from hit to Kepley. Bounced back through the mound. It's to the second baseman. Branch has to hurry, and the throw is low. Kepley's safe. Ball hit the bricks, and Kepley stays at first. Whether it's an infield single or an error, it doesn't matter. Kepley's aboard for the second time. It's just what he does.
No, I think they gave King Kepley a hit for that, and it's hard to blame the scorers because you see Kepley flying down the bases. You just assume he's going to be safe every time he's running.
How aggressive does Carolina want to get down a run with its best base stealer aboard with one down? Kepley, 41 for 45 in steals this year. And he's already got an aggressive lead with a lefty on the mound.
Have to be careful of the lefty.
Hit gives him a look. Tosses towards the plate. And a strike call to Vanderbreak at the belt. 0-1.
Looks like what Hit is going to try and do here is slide step. And what that means is he's not going to lift his leg up entirely as he's delivering. It's going to be a very short kick, so he's quicker to the plate.
The 0-1 from Hit to Vanderbreak. It's a throw to first instead, and a low one that's dug out of the dirt by Christensen. Kepley reached on a single, one of 3 hits tonight for the Tar Heels. Vanderbreak's got the other single, and of course Gallagher, the leadoff homer in the fourth that got the Tar Heels on the board. Oklahoma, though, has the lead 2-1 in the top of the fifth with 1 out and 1 on. Heels at the plate. Vanderbreak awaits the 0-1. And swung past the fastball. 0-2 as Vandy steps out, puts the bat under his left arm, tightens the gloves, and steps back in. Stevenson on deck. Hit comes set from the middle of the mound. Delivers. Outside. Carmichael looks Kepley back over to first. A ball and 2 strikes. Carmichael has caught 8 runners trying to steal this year. Opponents, though, have stolen 43 bases on the second-team All-SEC catcher. Kepley off the bag at first. The 1-2 to Vanderbreak. And down he goes on strikes. Bottom dropped out of that pitch. Second strikeout for Hit. Second out of the inning. And the weight falls on the most due of any Tar Heel. That's Luke Stevenson, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a fly out. Carolina has a runner at first, but with 2 down in the fifth, trailing 2-1. Luke Stevenson, preferably, would like to continue things.
Games like these where you need the guy to be the guy, and Gavin Gallagher has really stepped up for Carolina, but Stevenson is the one the Heels are going to rely on in these situations.
Lefty-lefty matchup. Hits first pitch, a fastball, downstairs, 1-0. Roy Williams is here in attendance tonight, and one of his old assistants, Jerry Green, used to say big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. Whether you're talking hoops or baseball, that line plays any which way. The 1-0. Stevenson, swing and a miss. Couldn't touch the fastball, and it's 1-1. Hard as it may be to believe, Luke is still hunting his first hit in the Chapel Hill Regional. Consecutive 0 for 4 nights against Holy Cross and Oklahoma. 0 for 1 tonight. The 1-1. Missed downstairs. Make it 2-1 to the Carolina catcher. Carmichael wants a new baseball. He gets one.
Hit is going to have to pitch to Stevenson here because you don't want to face Gavin Gallagher with a guy, especially with Kepley's speed and scoring position.
Gallagher leads Carolina with 26 two-out RBIs. He lives for moments like these, but can the Tar Heels get him to the plate? The 2-1 to Stevenson. Outside by an eyelash, 3-1.
I keep wondering why Stevenson is taking some of these pitches, but then I remember, well, he's a catcher. He's behind the plate. He knows the zone as well as anyone else in this park. Now he has a 3-1 count, and he should get something good to hit.
Kepley reached earlier on an infield single. He's off of first base with 2 down in the fourth. Heels down 2-1. The pitch gets Stevenson to swing and miss, and we're full 3-2. As if that bases loaded sequence for OU back in the bottom of the fourth wasn't big enough. This feels pretty huge in the top of the fifth. The payoff pitch from hit to Stevenson. It is outside, check swing, appeal to third, and it's ball 4. Carmichael, the catcher, thought that was strike 3 before the appeal. It was not. Kepley pushed to second base. Stevenson takes his second walk, and it is game on in Chapel Hill with Gavin Gallagher at the plate with 2 out and 2 on. Heels down 2-1 to Oklahoma. That's Stevenson's 57th walk. Ties him for 5th all-time in a single season with Dan Moylan, who racked up 57 bases on balls 25 years ago when Y2K was a thing.
Look how deep Jason Walk is playing right now towards that right center gap, similar to where Gallagher hit his home run.
The pitch to Gallagher. Low, and Carmichael deflects it in front of the plate. A ball and no strikes.
I'd be really surprised if Gavin Gallagher gets a good pitch to hit. He might get a strike, but if it's a strike, it'll be on that outside and low corner.
With the home run earlier, Gallagher 11 for his last 15 in a 5-game stretch. 5 runs scored, 5 RBIs. That's Gavin Gallagher at the plate. Kane Kepley at second. Luke Stevenson at first with 2 down in the 5th. Oklahoma 2, Carolina 1. Under the lights in Boshemer Stadium. The 1-0. Hits fastball, lands outside, and the righty Gallagher ahead 2 balls and no strikes. All of a sudden, finding the strike zone is like trying to thread a needle.
No, it's difficult with the pressure in this situation, but Gavin Gallagher has to be smart here and wait for hit to give him a good pitch.
The 2-0. That was a good pitch, and that is blasted into the alley in left center field. It is to the track and off the wall. Kepley scores to tie the game. Stevenson waved around. Here comes the throw. The slide. Safe. Gavin Gallagher does it again. With 2 outs, his double scores 2, and the Tar Heels go from down 1 to up 1. It is 3-2 Tar Heels in the top half of the 5th.
Man, someone's got to tell this kid that every weekend is the Chapel Hill Regional.
Or that every AB comes with 2 outs. I've never seen anything like it. That is 28 2-out RBIs for Gavin Gallagher, living for the big moment and wrangling the lead back in favor of Carolina. That ball was absolutely scorched just right of the scoreboard in left center. Kepley and Stevenson score, and the Tar Heels lead 3-2. It's the first advantage for Carolina tonight.
Fans on their feet here as Stokely comes to the plate. Hit is definitely not out of the woods yet.
First pitch, and there's a slow roller to third. Willis gets to it. Throw to first, and Stokely out by a step and a half to end the inning. A profitable top half of the 5th for Carolina sees the Heels get 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors, and a runner left stranded at second base. OU had a 1-0 lead after 3. OU had a 2-1 lead after 4. The Tar Heels have a 3-2 lead in the middle of the 5th from Learfield.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help, and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Along with Ben Mihalovich, I'm Dave Nathan. Welcome back to the Chapel Hill Regional, which is lit to say the least. Heels 3, Oklahoma Sooners 2. We go to the home half of the fifth. OU at the plate. It's Willits, Gamble, and Branch. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up. Tar Heel fans letting their voices be heard with Willits at the dish, 1 for 2. And an interesting spot for Tom Chmielewski, who's not thrown a ton this year. This is his 12th appearance. He came in with just 7 2/3 under his belt, so he's pitched a full 8 innings this year. And he's seeing significant action in the regional as he heaves low to the righty. Willits down in the count, 1-0.
Chmielewski hasn't been super accurate on the mound yet today.
The 1-0, and the righty takes a strike on the outside corner.
It's going to be
1-1.
A lot of slop here from Chmielewski.
Willits, go ahead.
If he goes fastball, it'll be on the outer corner to Willits.
The count, a ball and a strike. The pitch. Outside, 2-1 to Willits, who grounded out to second to end the first, then singled in the third. He leads off the fifth with Carolina up 3-2, thanks to Gavin Gallagher's 2-out, 2 RBI double that just scored Kepley and Stevenson. Next pitch. Off the plate, 3-1 as Chmielewski continues to stay away from Willits. Tar Heels play him straight up around the infield. Normal depth in the outfield. The 3-1. Slow tapper behind the line and foul past third base. Three and 2 the count to Willits. Oklahoma's first hitter in the bottom of the fifth. Sooners down a run for the first time tonight. Here's the offering from Chmielewski. Change up high and he lost him. Tar Heels have walked 5 Sooners tonight. Carolina had walked a total of 5 hitters in the first 2 games of the regional against Holy Cross and in the first matchup against Oklahoma. Knapp walked 3 in the first game, and Padgett walked a couple last night. Tying run aboard. Again, we're in the fifth. Heels 3, Sooners 2. Gamble at the plate 0 for 2 with a pair of ground outs to the right side.
Feels like a spot where the Heels desperately need stability.
First pitch. Tinged foul, and it's 0-1 to Gamble. Grew up in Utah. Went to junior college at Salt Lake Community College and has moved along to the SEC. The 0-1. There's a fastball at the waist. Called a strike, and it's 0-2. Gamble has hit safely in all 3 Chapel Hill regional games. 5 for 13 entering play tonight. He's currently 5 for 15. A leadoff of first for Willits, who got the leadoff walk. The 0-2 to the plate. Punch him out. Gamble looks at strike 3. Chewy chews him up and sends him back to the dugout. First strikeout of the game for Chmielewski. First out of the fifth. And Kyle Branch to the plate to hit for Oklahoma with 1 out and 1 on. Our score, Carolina 3, Oklahoma 2 in the bottom half of the fifth.
Looks like an offensive timeout here, maybe to break Chmielewski out of his rhythm. And with the starter Houck out of the game, Carolina needs to eat innings here, and the further Chmielewski can go, the better. And you wonder if Carolina might even try and piece this together, how the Heels win in extra innings against Duke, where everybody gets an inning and you go matchups when you need to.
Nobody in the bullpen for Carolina this weekend has been used for more than an inning. McDuffie went for 2/3 of an inning on Friday. Johnson, Padgett, Lynch all won an inning yesterday. Shimoleski got the Heels out of the 4th and has recorded the first out in the 5th. And after the offensive timeout, the Tar Heels want to talk shop on the mound as Coach Forbes emerges out of the third base dugout.
I think the offensive timeout actually helped out Carolina more than Oklahoma. It stalled for Carolina, and now Coach Forbes, I believe, can go to his bullpen, considering that Branch is a righty.
Olin Johnson, a righty, throwing in the Carolina bullpen for the second time. As Coach Forbes makes the point that way, Shimoleski comes off the bump. Tar Heel fans appreciate what the youngster from Needham, Massachusetts got done. Another wonderful story for a kid that came back from injury. Didn't play at all last year because of some arm discomfort in the spring. At Princeton, he was first team All-Ivy 2 years ago in 2023. Kind of a similar path that Jake Knapp followed, having a great year 2 years ago, not playing last year, and bouncing back this year. Shimoleski out, Olin Johnson in. It's our second call to the bullpen, brought to you by your trusted and local home repair company, Triangle Home Repair and Paint. Contact them today and get your honeydew list done now, with the Tar Heels up 3-2 in the 5th. One out for Oklahoma, and Willits at first base. Johnson makes his second appearance in as many nights against the Sooners.
Yep, Olin Johnson, big kid for the Tar Heels, about 6'6". A similar look to Aiden Houck, much similar to Houck, obviously, than Shimoleski. After last night, his stats for Carolina moved to a 3.03 ERA. He's 2-0 on the year, 16 appearances. He's thrown 29 2/3 innings, 23 hits, 10 runs, all earned, 14 walks, and 20 strikeouts. Again, this is a kid who can eat up innings. We saw him do it in the ACC championship against Clemson. And Olin Johnson, whether you want him in for a righty-righty matchup right here, or if Carolina wants him to throw 2 or even 3 innings, depending on how he's doing, he can do it.
Very steadily, Johnson's right arm is an arm that's been leaned on late in the season, having not only appeared in the last 2 games for Carolina. Johnson pitched those 2 2/3 against Clemson in Durham en route to the Tar Heels' 14-4 win and 9th ACC championship. The Heels lead Oklahoma 3-2 in the Chapel Hill Regional in the 5th. A win for Carolina punches a ticket into the Supers. Oklahoma playing for its season for the second time today, having beaten Nebraska already 17-1. Should the Sooners win, Monday is the Game 7, if necessary, matchup. And for all those that might be wondering if we get to that point, I suppose we could start any time between noon and 9 o'clock at night. Who knows?
Yep, it can be whenever. It's all going to depend on what happens around the country tonight, who else can clinch tonight, and what other Game 7s there may be.
Here's Branch at the plate, 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. The righty takes a fastball inside and jumps out in front of Johnson, 1-0. Willits took a leadoff walk. He's at first base. Gamble struck out looking before Shimoleski got pulled. Johnson second out of the pen for Carolina in the 5th. Heels up 3-2 on the Sooners. The 1-0 runner takes off from first. Pitch was outside. Stevenson throws down to second. That toss is in time, and that runner's out.
Oh, my gosh, that was unbelievable.
Even on what looked like a terrible pitch out from Johnson to Stevenson, Luke comes up aces. And he throws out Willits trying to steal second.
I think Johnson saw Willits break, or he slipped or something, but he, fell in a slow-motion cartoon fashion off the mound. Good on him to get the ball towards home plate and not get called for a balk. And then Stevenson picked it out of the dirt and fired a laser down to second.
Nobody on base. 2 down, and the 2-0 pitch sailed towards center. Here comes Kepley. The flyout ends the inning, and the Tar Heels come off of Bryson Field with oodles of mojo into the dugout.
Kane Kepley's still sprinting off that field.
My goodness. The leadoff walk goes by the wayside. After Gamble strikes out looking, Willits caught stealing, and Branch flies to center. In a roundabout way, it's 3 up and 3 down for the Sooners in the home half of the 5th. We go to the 6th. It's Carolina 3, Oklahoma 2. This is Carolina baseball from Learfield.
This season, enjoy the winning combination of Tar Heel baseball and peanuts, grown right here in the Tar Heel State. The peanut farmers of North Carolina are proud to support the Diamond Heels again this year and remind you that peanuts are delicious and nutritious, high in protein, and contain 0 cholesterol. Peanuts are a healthy snack that can be enjoyed on the go, at home, or while you're cheering on the Heels at Boshemer Stadium. So enjoy some North Carolina peanuts today.
When it comes to your home or business, you need a plumbing and HVAC team on your side. Count on Brown Brothers Plumbing and Heating. Serving the community since 1933, our family is here to keep your family comfortable. Whether it is a leaking pipe, stopped-up drain, water heater issues, or HVAC needs, we are here for you. Our licensed professionals have the training and experience needed to alleviate your problems and get you back to playing ball. Call Brown Brothers Plumbing and Heating at 919-220-2554 or inquire at bbph.com.
It is that time again. Basketball camps are back, and young men who will be in 6th or 7th grade during the 2025-2026 school year can apply for a scholarship through their local electric cooperative to attend the UNC basketball school this June. Apply online at ncelectriccooperatives.com/sportscamps. North Carolina's electric cooperatives building a brighter future for people and communities across the Tar Heel State. Action in Chapel Hill continues with Carolina at the plate and leading Oklahoma 3-2 in the 6th. Alex Madera leads off. Hit remains on the mound for OU. Bass on deck, and then Angelo to follow. It's the 6, 7, and 8 spots due up. Initial offering outside of the lefty. 1-0 as things are tight tonight between these two. It's the norm. Tons of exciting action around the country in the NCAA tournament. Ben will update you on that as the broadcast unfolds. First, the 1-0. Wide, it's 2-0. And maybe the biggest story to this point in the tournament, number 1 overall team Vanderbilt bounced in Nashville by Wright State 5-4 earlier. A wild ending as the Doors don't advance out of their own regional. First time that's ever happened for the number 1 team in the country, as Madera looks at a fastball inside to make it 3-0. For years, we had talked about the number 1 team not winning it in Omaha since 1999 when Miami claimed the top prize. That streak was snapped last year when Tennessee hoisted its first ever trophy.
And Tennessee wasn't even the best ever number 1 national that we've seen.
3-0 in for a strike to make it 3-1.
It was one of those things where it's like, okay, Tennessee finished off the season really strong. They won a really good conference. All right, they're the number 1 national seed. This wasn't a situation where the Vols totally ran through the regular season like they did in 2022.
It's 3-1. Madera swings, bounces to short. Willis comes up throwing, and there's shortstop on shortstop crime as Madera tossed out for the first out of the inning. 1 down in the 6th. Speaking of Tennessee, the Volunteers and Wake Forest Demon Deacons tied at 6 in the 7th in Knoxville. Tennessee trying to advance into the Supers. Wake Forest playing for tomorrow against the defending champs. Duke also looks like it's gotten on the scoreboard and has halved Oklahoma State's lead late on.
Yep, 2-1 to the Pokes in the bottom of the 8th. Right now in the Athens regional with Georgia, the host, eliminated.
Bass at the plate. Looks at a fastball high, 1-0. We're in the 6th. Carolina 3, Oklahoma 2. Nearing 9 p.m. on a Sunday night. The plot thickens between the Sooners and Heels. The 1-0. Left outside. 2-0 to Bass, who's grounded a short and hit into an odd 9-6 fielder's choice. It was a pop-up into shallow right that was dropped by Harris, the right fielder, but with Stokely at first base, he had to wait for the ball, and it fell. Stokely thrown out at second. The 2-0. Inside. Look out. 3 balls and no strikes to Tyson Bass with 1 down and the bases clear in the 6th. Heels up a run. Sam Angelo, the DH, in the on-deck circle for the Heels, coated in Carolina blue tonight.
Sunday Blues.
It's 3-0. That's too tight, and Bass takes a 4-pitch walk. The second issued by the first arm out of the pen. Jamie Hitt of Oklahoma surrenders another base runner.
And here comes Angelo getting a big ovation, and it really does wonders for this lineup when you have this kind of power at the bottom of the order and this type of ability.
Not a lot of people knew about Sam Angelo before last night when he homered twice, but I know this. He had .416 in his career at Montclair State in Division III. He was a first-team All-America twice. He hit 35 home runs in his last 2 years as he takes a swing and a foul tip that caught a piece of our home plate umpire. 0-1 to Angelo. Going all the way back to the fall in the Fall World Series, went 3 for 4 in a contest with a double, 2 homers, 3 runs scored, and 7 RBIs. Maybe just one of the reasons he was the opening day starter for Carolina back on Valentine's Day against the Red Raiders from Texas Tech.
Feels like eons ago, doesn't it, Dave?
Yes, it does. The 0-1 to Angelo. Outside, and the lefty, even in the count, 1-1.
I wonder if these Carolina lefties here might try and move up a little closer towards the plate, crowd the plate a little, and not only take away that outer half so they're able to reach it, but also just make Hitt go even more outside so that the pitch is a ball.
Madera retired on a ground out. Bass at first after a walk. Heels up 3-2 in the 6th on Oklahoma. The 1-1 from Hitt to Angelo. It's a throw to first. Runner back in time. I know this about Angelo as well. He's a big fan of the Star Wars franchise, and he'd tell you he brought his lightsaber to the ballpark last night. First multi-home run game as a Tar Heel. 5th in his career going back to the D3 days.
Yeah, he used some real force when hitting those baseballs out, too.
Well played. The 1-1. High, ball 2, and Angelo surges out in front of Hitt. Mississippi State, Florida State tied at 2 in the bottom of the 8th in Tallahassee. These great games just won't quit. What an event unfolding in the NCAA tournament. The 2-1. Angelo, big swing and a miss. 2-2.
Looked like he was late on that 88 from Hitt. I don't think he saw it out of the hand.
Coastal Carolina's gotten on the scoreboard and leads East Carolina 1-0 in the bottom of the 8th in Conway.
Coastal 3 outs away from the Supers.
Hits 2-2 to Angelo. Ground ball back to the mound. Hitt gets to it, throws to second for 1. Throw back over to first. That is 1-6-3 on the inning-ending double play. Well executed by Oklahoma. 4th in the SEC in turning 2 and top 50 nationally. The Sooners get off the field, and the walk to Bass goes by the wayside. The Tar Heels and Sooners head into the home half of the 6th. Oklahoma, again the home team tonight in Chapel Hill, trails the Tar Heels 3-2 from Learfield.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is, this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. Know. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. Know by visiting nhtsa.gov/the-right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Dave Nathan and Ben Mihaljevic welcoming you back to Boshamer Stadium and the Chapel Hill Regional. It is a Sunday night. Feels like a Friday, the way this one's unfolding. Carolina 3, Oklahoma 2. Sooners to the plate in the bottom of the 6th with the bottom third of the order due up. Harris, Dickerson, and Willis to get their first look at Olin Johnson, who came out of the pen to retire Kyle Branch in the 5th. Was also helped out by Luke Stevenson throwing out Jackson Willits trying to steal second.
That was just an unbelievable play from Stevenson.
Harris 0 for 1 with a walk and a flyout. The lefty looks at a fastball inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Gallagher plays on the infield cut at third base. Everybody else on the infield dirt. The 1-0. Swing and a line drive foul off to the left. A ball and a strike to the OU right fielder. Deshaun Harris, sophomore out of Plano, Texas. He's hit safely in 5 consecutive. Last 3 games before the Sooners got to Chapel Hill. The first 2 games that he's played in. And tack on 1 more. A swing and a slicing single into left center field. Harris aboard. And once again, Oklahoma's got the leadoff man on. Walk double to lead off the first. Willis homered to begin the third. Branch walked and scored in the 4th. Willits walked in the 5th. And Harris singles in the 6th. 5 out of 6 innings. Oklahoma's gotten the leadoff man on. Twice that man's come in. Carolina leads 3-2.
How about the bottom of the order, too, for the Sooners?
That's where all the action's been. Here's Dickerson 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Johnson's first pitch settles low and inside of the righty, 1-0. Dickerson played some high school football and basketball back in his old Lee Summit, Missouri days. Was rated the number 2 shortstop and the number 3 overall player in Missouri coming out of high school. The 1-0. Swing and a towering fly to left center. Did he get all of it? Did he get underneath it? It's gone. And Oklahoma retakes the advantage. Ball found a spot between the light post and the scoreboard. And Drew Dickerson has homered for the 2nd time in the Chapel Hill Regional and has put Oklahoma up a run in the 6th, 4-3. Back and forth we go. The Sooners got the first run. Carolina tied it in the 4th. Oklahoma retook the lead in the bottom of the 4th. The Heels enjoyed their only advantage, scoring 2 in the 5th. Now in the 6th, OU back up by a run, 4-3. This feels like a slow-motion tennis match where you're just looking back and forth at one team or the other taking the lead as Coach Forbes comes out of the dugout and takes the ball from Johnson. And back into the bullpen, Carolina goes. And it's Folger Boaz, the lefty, to see Dawson Willis in the 6th.
Coach Forbes sticking with his matchup guys here. Boaz hasn't really been used for extended periods this year for the Diamond Heels after being the Friday night guy last year up until injury. He's been more of one of those bullpen arms you bring in to face a couple lefties and then take him out. But with that being said, he does have the ability to go more extended periods of time.
Olin Johnson last 2/3 of an inning. 2 hits, 2 runs. And Folger Boaz appears out of the bullpen. For all the wild stories we could tell you about Tar Heels this year, there are a few wilder than the path that Folger Boaz has taken to a sophomore campaign as a Tar Heel. He was all everything as a high school athlete out of Pilot Mountain. He was the state athlete of the year, played 3 years of high school basketball, was twice all-conference, twice the high school football player of the year as a quarterback, had a football scholarship to Florida, but baseball has been his path to Carolina. Was the first freshman to start an opener in Chapel Hill since 1998. And for the first half of last year, he was a bona fide number one guy. Finished the year 3-1 with an ERA just over 5.5, but injury struck midway through the season in Charlotte against South Carolina. Came out of the game with elbow discomfort and was gone for the remainder of the season. Underwent an elbow procedure that cost him the second half of his freshman campaign and has battled back to be a useful component this year out of the Carolina bullpen. Boaz has started 4 games, but this is the 18th time he's come out of the pen. He's won 3 games. He's unbeaten this year with an ERA just over 4. Opponents hitting .255 off of Folger Boaz.
And during that break, Florida State opened up a 5-2 lead on Mississippi State, so the Seminoles are now just 3 outs away from the Super Regional. Coastal as well has gotten the 3 outs it needed and advanced to the Supers.
Boaz first pitch to Willis shows bunt, takes a strike, and it's 0-1 to the third baseman, who homered in the third, singled in the fourth. We are in the 6th, 4-3 Oklahoma. The 1-run advantage on Carolina. The 0-1 outside, and it's 1-1.
We get word here now that Duke has rallied from down 2-0 to beat Oklahoma State and advance to the Supers.
Next pitch from Boaz to Willis. Clocked foul left side in front of the Carolina bullpen. A ball and 2 strikes to the Ruston, Louisiana product in his junior campaign for OU. Boaz comes set from the third base side of the rubber. The 1-2. Fastball. Looked good from up here. Must have been low. And it's 2-2 to Willis with nobody out in the 6th. The base is clear. Oklahoma got a leadoff single from Deshaun Harris and a 2-run homer from Drew Dickerson to jump out in front of Carolina. 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th. The 2-2. Outside, and the righty takes ball 3. The count is full. Tar Heels have thrown a lot of pitches tonight. This game got started at 6:37, approaching 9 o'clock. We're still in the middle innings. The payoff pitch. Foul tipped and to the screen. Still 3-2 to Willis. Tar Heels pitch count creeping towards 130. I don't know if Knapp and McDuffie needed 130 pitches to get through that first game against Holy Cross and that 4-0 win.
I don't think they did. I think that was around 120.
The payoff pitch again. Fouled off again. The Tar Heels beat Holy Cross on Friday 4-0 to advance into the winner's bracket. Took an 11-5 decision last night from OU to sit in the catbird seat. The Sooners have had to trudge through Nebraska earlier today in beating the Huskers 17-1 to get a rematch with the Tar Heels, who could advance to the Supers with a win. The 3-2. Fouled off. A win for the Sooners puts these two teams back on this very same field tomorrow. Game time, TBD if we get that far. Tar Heels had to go the long way around last year to beat LSU in that final Game 7 to advance into the Supers. The next 3-2 from Boaz to Willis. Straightened out and lifted towards right. Bass on his horse, racing towards the line, and he makes the catch in right field. Nearly overran it, reaching back up over his head to secure the ball. and the first out in the 6th inning as Jason walked hit next for the Sooners.
Good job by Bass. It looked like he slowed down as he got to the general area where he thought the ball would fall and tried to prevent himself from overrunning the ball. That way his arms are long enough where he can reach in any one direction and make a play.
Bass has 2 speeds, 0 and fast. First pitch to Walk, fouled back, and it's 0-1. Kepley, meanwhile, in center field only has 1 speed, and that is all systems go.
Yeah.
The makeup of these kids, they play so well together, but off the field they're composed so differently.
I think I've seen Kepley sprinting to class before.
The 0-1. Checks in low, 1-1. With your track record, I'm surprised you're on campus to see anybody going to class. I thought you just showed up when the games were played.
Yeah, if it's after 2 p.m., I might make it over.
The 1-1. There's a strike call. It's a walk. 1 and 2 to the center fielder, who's 1 for 2 in the game. Doubled in the first, struck out in the third, walked in the fourth. We reside in the 6th. Oklahoma 4, Carolina 3 with 1 down and the bases clear. The 1-2 pitch. It's inside, and it's 2-2. 93-mile-per-hour fastball from Boaz. Pushes the switch hitter Walk off the plate. Carolina's fans clapping and cheering for Folger Boaz, who comes set. The 2-2 into the dirt, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And as we run up on 9 o'clock, let's pause 10 seconds for another station ID to keep things street legal here on the Tar Heel Sports Network. The payoff pitch from Boaz to Walk, Klang foul. Right side, still 3-2 as Boaz gets a fresh ball from his battery mate, Luke Stevenson.
Oklahoma has done so well tonight at having more competitive at-bats and going deeper into these at-bats.
Carmichael awaits in the on-deck circle.
Last night, Jason DeCaro had a lot of success early in at-bats and got to any pitch he wanted to.
Boaz sends the payoff pitch, which is bounced to second. Vanderbrake reaches up, secures the ball, and throws to Stokely. Walk retired, 4-3, second out of the inning. Vanderbrake, in the old words of Coach Bill Guthridge, had to be quick without hurrying. A basketball term for Coach Guthridge translates on the diamond for Jackson Vanderbrake. Carmichael at the dish with the bases clear and 2 down in the bottom of the 6th. Oklahoma nursing a slim 4-3 lead on Carolina. Boaz sets to fire. Pitch hit into the shift. Vanderbrake behind second. Backhands it. Throws high to Stokely, and Carmichael safe. Everything looked right until the throw airmailed Stokely, and Carmichael reaches for the 3rd time today, likely because of another error. As the Heels give Oklahoma an extra base runner, and we'll wait on Carolina to come to hit in the top of the 7th when they've got French, Kepley, and Vanderbrake due up.
That time it was hurried.
The shift was perfect. Vanderbrake was right where he needed to be, barely left to second base to get to the ball. But he threw it over Stokely, who stands about 6'3". And that's got Christensen at the plate, 0 for 3. He's a lefty, as is Boaz, who throws to first, and Carmichael steps back on the bag. Christensen struck out twice with Houck on the mound, and then Shimoleski got him to ground out to short, which ended the 4th. We play on in the bottom of the 6th with 2 on. Sooners with a runner at first and a 4-3 lead. Boaz delivers off the plate with a changeup. 1-0.
Chapel Hill crowd becoming restless here with Brian Marine.
The 1-0. Working the umpires, the officials, call them what you will. Might have paid off. Pitch clips the corner, and it's 1-1 to Christensen.
It's a similar spot. I think Boaz just put it a little bit closer to home plate.
Next pitch from the lefty to the lefty. Off speed, and again, running over the black outer half. 1-2 the count to Christensen. Grew up in Mesa, Arizona, went to South Mountain Community College 2 years ago. Didn't play baseball last year. Has arrived to Oklahoma this year. The 1-2. Fastball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Christensen. Another player that didn't play in the opener for OU against Nebraska, but has come up big in the last couple for Coach Johnson.
OU doesn't want to swing at these pitches on the outer corner.
Boaz with a long look to first before the pitch. Gets a ball that bounces back to the mound. Ticka's glove off and rolls towards the shortstop. It dies on the infield grass, and it's an infield single for Christensen. Well, these are the things that happen when you give up free outs. Carmichael, after reaching on an error, gets to second. Christensen to first on the infield single. And all of a sudden, the Tar Heels find themselves in a pickle again with 2 out and 2 on. Jackson Willits at the plate. He's walked, singled, and grounded out to second base. The Tar Heels would prefer to get off the field and keep this margin at 4-3 in favor of the Sooners, with French, Kepley, and Vanderbrake to lead off in the top of the 7th. Willits, a right-handed hitter, bats cleanup for OU. Boaz fires off speed and high. 1-0 to Willits. Willits homered on opening day against Lehigh. Had a great series against Missouri when he went 8 for 13 in mid-April, but then went 0 for 14 in his next 4 games. The 1-0. Fastball rides inside, and it's 1-0. Willits can run hot and cold. He's had 2 multi-hit games in this event. 2 for 5 last night against Carolina, 2 for 6 earlier today against Nebraska. The 2-0. Just missed outside. 3-0.
You gotta really make the pitches tonight to get the calls.
Last night's strike zone was consistently tight. This has been more of a meandering zone. Tough game to get a feel for. 3-0 to Willits. Boaz looks to second, delivers to the plate, and deuces a swing and a miss on a fastball. 3-1 to Willits. Gamble would be next if the inning continues. It's an inning that saw Harris lead off with a single and Dickerson homer to put OU up 4-3. Johnson exited, Boaz entered, got the first 2 out, but the next 2 reached. This pitch floated down the line towards right field. Stokely and Bass both give chase. It falls foul between the 2 Tar Heels. And the count pushed full again. 3-2 as Boaz gets a new ball from Stevenson. Willits back to the plate. Christensen retreats to first. Carmichael, who reached on the air, over to second. High drama in Chapel Hill just after 9 o'clock.
Feels like Oklahoma's been to the plate forever here. Carolina desperately needs to get out of the inning and get back to the plate.
Willits is the 7th to the plate this inning. OU brought 7 to the dish in the 4th, but only scored the 1 run that inning. A mammoth payoff pitch from Boaz to Willits. Hammer to left, down the line, fair, and rolling to the track. Carmichael scores to make it 5-3. Christensen behind him. 6-3 OU, and the 2-out, 2 RBI double by Willits has given Oklahoma some breathing room, and the air comes back to haunt Carolina in the worst way possible.
Great piece of hitting there by Willits. I mean, he just drove the ball down the line, got a pitch out over the plate, and what he was doing the whole time, and he was waiting for Boaz to throw him a pitch in the zone and over the plate, over the heart of the plate, and finally got it and made Boaz pay.
It's Willits' 3rd consecutive multi-hit game in Chapel Hill. It brings Gamble to the plate. He's 0 for 3 tonight, and the lefty looks at a pitch downstairs to make it 1-0. Tar Heels employ a mini shift. Madera plays almost behind second base. Vandenbrake a couple of steps back on the outfield grass. Stokely hugging the line behind first on the dirt as Oklahoma has surged out in front of the Heels 6-3 with a 4-run sixth. The 1-0 fastball crosses the outer half. A ball and a strike to OU's left fielder, who's grounded out twice and struck out looking. He is the 8th Sooner to hit in what's been a breakout inning for the folks from Norman. The 1-1. Taken for strike 2. Gamble is the only Sooner yet to reach tonight. And here's hoping I didn't just jinx that. The 1-2. Low and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Willits at second base. 2 down in the bottom of the 6th. Oklahoma 6, Carolina 3. The Sooners playing for their season. The Tar Heels playing for the Supers. Definitely tonight and maybe tomorrow. The 2-2. Wide, 3 balls and 2 strikes. This inning just won't quit.
And this is what Oklahoma is doing. This is part of the strategy, is the Sooners are refusing to chase any pitches out of the zone. I have a really good read for what's going on here.
The payoff pitch from Boaz to Gamble. Just missed the outside corner, and now every Sooner is reached. That's the first walk issued by Boaz, and it puts runners at first and second.
And with Branch coming to the plate, every Sooner has now hit this inning. It looks like Florida State here is 1 out away from the Supers.
Carolina's needed, at this point, almost more than 50 pitches more than Oklahoma to get to this stage of the game. We're in the 6th. Sooners up 6-3. In the southeastern part of the country, again, looks to be well represented in the next round of this event, with Coastal Carolina already advancing and Conway and Duke getting out of Athens. Might Florida State be the second team from the ACC to move on, as Boaz lifted with Coach Forbes coming out of the dugout. And the ball handed off to Cam Seagraves. Flame-throwing righty out of Ellerby. Big-time reputation. Gets the ball. And this is the first time
it's been a bit
he's gotten the ball since that Florida State series.
Yep.
Took his first career loss in Tallahassee when the Tar Heels were up 4-3 in the 8th. The Noles emerged victorious 5-4 to get a piece of that series. But don't let that take away from the season Seagraves has had. Starting a game, appearing now in 18. A 2-1 record, ERA just over 4.5. Opponents hitting .227 off of Seagraves, who can ramp it up to 97.
Great arm talent for Cam Seagraves this year for Carolina. He's gone 23 1/3 innings. He's given up 20 hits, 16 runs. Only 12 of those have been earned. He's walked 22 and struck out 34. I'm surprised we did not see him at all in the ACC tournament. He's been one of the best arms out of the bullpen this year. And his task now is to settle down these Oklahoma bats and just maybe throw a couple strikes, get Carolina out of the 6th, most importantly.
I can't think of another game where Carolina's been this inconsistent on the mound. There's been 6 games this year where the Tar Heels haven't walked a single hitter. Tonight, the Tar Heels have walked 6 Sooners while striking out 7. And we're not through 6 full innings yet with the Sooners up 6-3 on Carolina. OU's pounded out 8 hits. The Tar Heels have mustered just 4 hits. The error committed on the Easton Carmichael ground ball has opened the floodgates for 2 extra runs coming in, and there's still 2 aboard. Willits at second, Gamble at first. with 2 down, and Kyle Branch, the only Sooner yet to hit, is at the plate to face off against Seagraves. It's a battle of freshmen downstairs on Bryson Field.
For the sake of my scorebook, things might get interesting here if Kyle Branch gets on. And there it is, Florida State. It looks, oh, no. I thought they were ending the game. That game's still alive.
First pitch from Seagraves to Branch. A 94-mile-per-hour fastball, 0-1. Seagraves doesn't have the build that, say, a Lynch has, or even a McDuffie, but he generates a ton of power.
Yeah, it's interesting. They come in all shapes and sizes, and no matter what, they all throw the ball really hard.
The 0-1. Fastball, low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Branch, who's grounded out, walked, and flied out. He was the first to face Johnson back in the 5th. An inning later, the first to face Seagraves in a 6-3 game. Oklahoma doubling up Carolina in the bottom of the 6th with 2 on and 2 out. The 1-1. Pulled the string, and there's a swing and a miss. Branch falls behind 1-2. Carolina fans sticking with their team. Nobody's left their seats just yet. This one far from over.
Hoping for a little Bosch magic tonight.
The 1-2. Low in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. One of the oddest stats I found after the season concluded last year with the Tar Heels getting all the way to Omaha and finishing 5th. Throughout all the games the Heels played, Carolina was outscored in the NCAA tournament by its opponents.
Yeah, they either won by 1 or lost by 4.
The 2-2. Seagraves gets a little floater towards center field. Here comes Kepley. Ball falls in front of him. Another run scores. Kepley's throw towards third base hits Gamble. He takes off towards the plate. The throw to Stevenson. That's in time. Stevenson applies the tag and will go to the 7th with the Heels down by 4 runs, 7-3. To clean that up, Branch drives in Willits, who scores from second base. Gamble was diving towards third when the ball hit him from the outfield, but was thrown out at home plate, and that ends a wild 6 that sees the Sooners score 5 runs as the Seminoles get to the Supers, defeating Mississippi State 5-2. That's as big an inning as the Tar Heels have allowed since Game 2 in Blacksburg against Virginia Tech. And we go to the 7th with Carolina down by 4 runs, 7-3. Oklahoma leads in Chapel Hill from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Like a walk-off home run to beat your rival, or the play you can remember like it was yesterday. Penn Station East Coast Subs fuels your passion for greatness. With a menu featuring an array of mouth-watering grilled submarine sandwiches, fresh-cut fries, and hand-squeezed lemonade, let Penn Station Subs make every day feel like game day. Penn Station East Coast Subs is happy to serve you with 6 locations right here in the Triangle. Come see us in store or order online. Penn Station East Coast Subs. It's all about good taste.
Carolina baseball is presented all season long by Hardison & Cochran. Injured and have legal questions? Call Hardison & Cochran, 919-ALL-4s.
On to the 7th, which comes courtesy of your Peanut Fact of the Game, brought to you by the Peanut Growers of North Carolina. Peanuts contain 7 grams of protein and 3 grams of fiber per serving, along with 19 other vitamins and minerals. Peanuts are a locally grown, affordable, and versatile ingredient that's a great source of plant-based protein and always a hit. We start the 7th with the Heels down to OU 7-3. Carter French at the plate. Hit stays on the mound and hits French. The Tar Heels need base runners, and there's one. French hit for the first time this year by the aptly named Hit, who plunks his 5th in 2025.
Just got to be one at a time here for Carolina. Base runner after base runner, and see what the Heels can generate.
Lineup turns over to Kane Kepley.
Louisville looks like already up 2-0 on Wright State with the bases loaded and nobody out in the top of the first. Cardinals advance to the Supers with a win.
Hits first pitch to Kepley. Sails outside of the left-handed hitter, 1-0. Kepley's grounded out, reached on an error, singled and scored today, so he's 1 for 3. Carolina down 7-3. This is the biggest deficit Carolina's faced in a while, having won 26 out of its last 32 games. The 1-0 settles over the inside corner, called a strike, 1-1. And just a quick note on these big innings allowed by Carolina this year. That 5-run sixth is just the 5th time this season the Tar Heels have allowed the opponent to score 5 or more runs in a single inning. The Tar Heels are 1-3 in the previous 4 games, as the count to Kepley moves to 2-1.
Looks like Hitt is losing his accuracy a little bit. He plunked French, and even the strike he threw to Kepley was teetering on that inside corner, and here we go with a mound visit.
Yeah, Oklahoma can sense things wobbling a bit for Hitt, who came on for Jaden Barfield, who lasted the first 4 innings. Hitt surrendered a couple of runs in the 5th, got through the 6th okay, thanks to a double play ball, but has run into a bit of trouble in the 7th, hitting Carter French and falling behind Kane Kepley, 2-1. Oklahoma has a 7-3 lead on Carolina. But for anybody that's followed the Tar Heels throughout the postseason, year over year, there's some wild things that can happen in this event.
You just never know with baseball.
Getting another report that an ACC team has defeated an SEC team in Knoxville. Wake Forest playing for its season.
Sounds like Wake just walked off Tennessee to stay alive and force a Game 7 in Knoxville.
We're in Chapel Hill. Oklahoma leads Carolina 7-3 in the 7th. Nobody out, a runner at first. Kane Kepley awaits the 2-1 from Hitt. Another pitch running over the inside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the take by Kepley.
Kepley's leaning away from that strike on the inner third. You can't blame him because he's been hit so many times this year, 25 to be exact. But if it's called a strike, he's going to have to swing here with 2 on him.
The 2-2. Kepley swings, pulls that past first base. Fair ball into the corner. French around second. He's got speed. French to third. He's held up, and Kepley into second base with a double. There's 2 Tar Heels in scoring position, and it's game on in Chapel Hill. The Tar Heels have Jackson Vanderbrake up to the plate next. And this is one of these games. Every time one team scored, the other has answered the ball in Carolina's court.
These now become 2 very important runs out on the bases for Carolina, and that's going to do it for Jamie Hitt.
Hitt has reached the end of the line in the 7th. Is this where OU has to get a little creative, having already played once today?
The good thing for the Sooners is that they only had to use 2 pitchers in the first game against Nebraska. Cade Crossland got the win on the mound, and I think they went to Catalano for the rest of the game.
This is Jason Bowden, sophomore righty out of Orange, Texas, by way of Texas A&M. This will be the first time Bowden's faced off against the Tar Heels, who aim to creep a little closer as the Sooners hold a 7-3 lead in the 7th, but the first 2 Tar Heels have reached. French hit by a pitch. Kepley just doubled at second and third with nobody out. Vanderbrake at the plate. 1 for 3 in this evening's contest.
And Bowden definitely a little bit more shaky for the Sooners. He's got a 6.08 ERA in 30 appearances, a 2-1 record. He's thrown 40 innings, given up 46 hits, 32 runs, 27 earned, 12 walks, 37 strikeouts. So a little less sure-handed than some of the other Sooners' arms that we've seen today. And, boy, this feels like a great opportunity for Carolina. 2, 3, and 4, heart of the order due up with 2 guys in scoring position and nobody out.
While we wait on Bowdoin to get warm, again, it's 7-3 here in Chapel Hill. OU, with a 5-run sixth, has reclaimed the advantage elsewhere.
And we're learning that Wake Forest walked off Tennessee on a bases-loaded walk-off walk. But, hey, however you can get it done in this time of year, that'll work. Wake stays alive, fights for another day. Winner take all in the Knoxville Regional tomorrow. Elsewhere, Cal Poly and Utah Valley in the corresponding regional are tied at 6 in the top of the 10th. That is an elimination game for both teams. The winner moves on to take on Arizona and would have to beat Arizona tonight and tomorrow.
This is an elimination game for Oklahoma. A win for the Tar Heels moves them into the Supers. Bowdoin on the bump, Vandebreak at the plate. Righty-righty matchup. And Vandebreak looks at a pitch that almost scored it away from the catcher Carmichael. It rolls towards the Oklahoma dugout, but nobody goes anywhere.
Something else to consider is that Carolina has A-plus speed in both guys on the bases, French and Kepley. Kepley might be A++.
That's a grade I never saw in school.
You didn't see anything with an A, did you?
No. Next pitch, called a strike, makes it 1-1. Now, I guess I did see an A when the word fail was written on some of my work. That was about the only time. Second and third for the Heels in the 7th. Nobody out. The 1-1. Fastball darts across the outer half. That meandering strike zone favors Oklahoma, and it's 1-2 to Vandebreak. The Tar Heels down 7-3.
Carolina can't have a strikeout here. The infield's all the way back, and it looks like we've got an eye engagement thing. No, shocker, it wasn't Stokely.
Yeah. Stevenson's on deck. Gallagher would hit behind him, then Hunter Stokely. And Carolina's Sunday order. Tar Heels go with the same crop of kids that got them the 11-5 win last night over OU. Jason DeCaro earned his 9th win on the season, and that's put the Tar Heels in the catbird seat in Chapel Hill. A 1-2. Vandebreak goes down on a swing and a miss. The pitch was in the dirt. The throw from the catcher down to first gets Vandy. And there's the first out of the inning. Second time Vandebreak is struck out. And here comes Luke Stevenson, 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a run scored. Now this is a guy that can bring the Tar Heels to within a run with one big swing. Stevenson, first in the ACC in homers with 18. He's 42nd in the country in that category. And as if we haven't said it enough, he is as due as anybody. First pitch. Ball outside of the lefty, 1-0.
One thing he has done well during this slump is he hasn't gotten anxious and chased pitches out of the zone. He's taken his walks when they are given.
Oklahoma plays him straight up around the infield. The 1-0. Over the inside corner. 1-1 to Stevenson. The wind hasn't blown tonight. This game almost 3 hours old. We're in the 7th. 7-3 Oklahoma leads. 2 on, 1 down for the Heels. The pitch taken outside, and a good take by Luke makes it 2-1. Bowdoin comes set, first base side. The pitch, Stevenson, slow grounder to second base, backhanded by Branch, throw to first. Stevenson's out, but Carolina scores a run. French in from third, and the Tar Heels down 7-4. Kepley advances to third. And here comes Gavin Gallagher. Again, nobody else you'd rather have at the plate with 2 away. He had a 2-out, 2 RBI double back in the 5th. It briefly put Carolina ahead 3-2. But the 5 spot OU struck for in the 6th. A reason why the Sooners lead 7-4 in the 7th. Gallagher's 2 for 3. 3 RBIs. The pitch from Bowden. Gallagher sees a beach ball and blasts it into center field. It is 7-5. Carolina scores. Gallagher digging for 2. Of course he's in there head first with his second consecutive double, his third extra base hit, his 4th RBI, and lickety-split, Carolina is back in this one.
My Lord. I mean, I don't think a beach ball does it justice.
7-5. Oklahoma's lead has been sliced to 2. 29 two-out RBIs for Gallagher in 2025. The inning continues with Hunter Stokely 0 for 2 at the plate. Gallagher at second. The pitch. Stokely swings, and the ball squirted out of the glove of Carmichael, rolls towards the Heels dugout. Gallagher stays put at second. 0-1 on the swinging strike. That fastball was humming along at 96 out of the right arm of Josh Bowden. The Heels with a 2 spot in the top of the 7th, down by 2, 7-5. 2 out, Gallagher in scoring position. The 0-1, Stokely took a swing and a foul tip.
They're going outside here to Hunter Stokely, and it looks like he's trying to pull the ball, and now he's behind 0-2.
It's been back-to-back mid-90s fastballs for Bowden. Does he stick with it or go to something else? Let's find out as Gallagher advances off of second base. Bowden comes set from the first base side of the rubber. The pitch gets Stokely swinging. A foul tip into the glove of Carmichael. The inning is over. The Tar Heels get the first 2 on and the first 2 in. Kepley and French both score. The Tar Heels get 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors. And it's Gallagher left stranded at second base after the RBI double. Time to stretch in Chapel Hill. The Sooners lead the Tar Heels 7-5 from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Dave Nathan and Ben Mihalovich back at the Chapel Hill Regional. Oklahoma leads Carolina 7-5 in the bottom of the 7th, despite the fact that OU has traveled here. The Sooners are the home team tonight, since the Tar Heels have not been the visiting team in either of the first 2 games. Sooners brought 9 to the plate in the 5-run 6th. Harris leads off the bottom of the 7th. 1 for 2 with a walk, a single, and a run scored. Seagraves on the mound for Carolina. Harris, a lefty at the plate, shows bunt, and a high fastball makes it 1-0 to the native Texan.
If Carolina's going to do this, then the Tar Heels can't allow Oklahoma to score again. Got to hold this at 7-5.
The 1-0. Bunt shown, pulled off, and a pitch inside makes it 2-0.
And it starts here with Seagraves throwing strikes and letting Harris try and get the bunt down.
The 2-0. Outside and ball 3. An inauspicious beginning in the bottom of the 7th as Seagraves has fallen behind. The Tar Heels have a righty up and working in the bullpen. Might that be Cale Bolton? The 3-0. Another bunt shown. This is called a strike, and it's 3-1 to Harris. The 3-1 slashed foul, 3-2. Carolina has allowed 7 runs tonight. You have to go back to the NC State series to find the last time the Tar Heels have allowed a number like this on the board. That was an 8-5 final back on the 9th of May. State won by 3 runs as Harris again loops a pitch foul to stay at the plate. 3-2. Following day, play was canceled because of bad weather. Tar Heels lost the next game to UNCW, then went down to Florida State, took 2 of 3 from the then number 2 team in the country, FSU. The payoff pitch. Smashed foul left side into the netting.
Doesn't look like Harris can get all the way around on this Seagraves fastball, but he can do just enough to stay alive here. Eventually, he'll time it up.
Harris leads off the bottom of the 7th for OU, who leads 7-5. The next pitch. That's outside, and it's ball 4. Another leadoff runner for FSU. Or I beg your pardon, for OU. Stuck on Tallahassee for some reason.
Well, you just mentioned them. Fair enough.
So the only inning OU has not gotten the leadoff runner on was the 2nd. The Sooners got 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 5 in the 6th, and have a runner at first in the 7th, up 7-5. And Dickerson at the plate, 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer. First pitch, half swing, throw down to first by Stevenson, and a close call. Harris got back in there. Time called down on the field. This may garner a second look.
Carolina might have called for a review here. I didn't see it, but the way the crew got together so quickly, yeah, Carolina challenged it.
Dickerson's behind in the count, 0-1, but was Harris back in time over at first on the snap throw by Luke Stevenson?
Well, we'll get a review here on the scoreboard.
This would be another big out if Carolina could get it. Remember, the Tar Heels threw out Willits trying to steal to help their way out of the 5th, and in the 6th, Gamble was thrown out trying to score.
It looks like he's safe. He dove back in just in time.
There'd have to be something conclusive.
Yeah, I don't think there is that.
No doubt it was close, as is this game in the 7th. Oklahoma 7, Carolina 5. This bottom part of the order has torched Carolina tonight. Harris has been on base 3 times. Dickerson's homered. Willis has homered. They have accounted for 3 runs that have scored and 3 RBIs. You just go back to the 6th, the error that led to those 3 unearned runs coming in. Who knows where this game goes, but that could easily be the difference in a game that has been tight ever since we got started. Here come the umpires out of the review area. Let's find out what the call on the field is. So the call stands. Harris safe at first. About what we thought.
Yeah. I mean,
interesting the way they worded it.
Call, yeah, it stands. It's not confirmed. Which leads us to believe that if it was called the other way on the field, that maybe it would have stood as called.
But Derek Everett took an extra beat to think about it before he called the runner safe. The 0-1 to Dickerson at the plate in a righty-righty showdown. Inside with a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike to the DH, hitting out of the 8 spot. Dickerson just 2 for 13 in his last 5 before the NCAA tournament. He's hit safely in all 4 games in Chapel Hill. The 1-1. Downstairs, 2-1. For some reason, Coach Johnson has gone to this youngster out of Missouri. Time and again, Mudler not playing tonight. Taki out of the lineup as well. Those two have been saddled with injuries this weekend. The 2-1. The place as quiet as that's been all night. Throw to first, and Harris back in under the tag of Stokely. Harris 5 for 6 in steals this year. OU leads Carolina 7-5 in the bottom of the 7th. The 2-1. Swing and a miss on the mid-90s fastball. 2-2 the count to Drew Dickerson.
I'm not sure how Dickerson hits a 94-mile-an-hour fastball in on his hands like that. That's a really, really good pitch from Cameron Seagraves.
Stokely continues to hold the runner at first. Everybody else at regular depth around the infield. The 2-2 from Seagraves. Inside, hit him. Ouch. 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Dickerson tosses the bat. Loses the elbow guard, the shin guard. No way that felt good. Seagraves hits just his third hitter of the season, while Dickerson plunked for just the second time in his freshman campaign.
And here comes Coach Forbes.
Infield heads towards the mound as well. Oklahoma 7, Carolina 5 in the bottom of the 7th. The Sooners with 2 base runners, and neither has had to get the bat off his shoulder. Harris took a leadoff walk. Dickerson hit by a pitch, and Coach Forbes takes the ball from Seagraves. The Tar Heels go to Cale Bolton. Out of the pen. Sponsored by your trusted and local home repair company, Triangle Home Repair and Paint. Contact them today and get your honey-do list done now. We saw Shimoleski earlier. He was first out of the pen after Aiden Houck went the first 3 2/3. Bolton, the latest that the Tar Heels go to. It was he and Shimoleski who saw the biggest uptick in a workload after Percival and Mateus were lost for the season midway through 2025, Ben.
Yep, absolutely. And Bolton actually grew up a Duke fan, and how big was he in the game against Duke in extra innings for the Tar Heels, shutting the Blue Devils down and helping Carolina get the victory in 14 innings. Felt like we were here all day, and, well, we kind of were. But for Bolton this year, a 2.57 ERA. He's only appeared in 9 games, thrown 7 innings, given up 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. So not a very large sample size for Cale Bolton, but his task right now is just to get outs for the Heels and get Carolina back to the dugout so the Heels can hit.
The arm situation grows ever more interesting for both of these teams. The Tar Heels have not just used Houck and Shimoleski today, but Olin Johnson, Folger Boaz, Cam Seagraves, and now Cale Bolton. Obviously, DeCaro and Knapp are burned. McDuffie still available. Ryan Lynch, who sewed things up last night with the 11-5 final, you would think is available. Cam Padgett, who pitched an inning last night, has been a guy the Tar Heels haven't shied away from in postseason situations. Boston Flannery hasn't been used in the postseason, but has a live arm. These games get long, they stay close, and this one's 7-5 in favor of Oklahoma. Unsung heroes can rise into the forefront. And who knows which team's going to come out of this one with a W. If it's Carolina, the Tar Heels are on to the Supers. FSU, Coastal, and Duke have already advanced into next week's action. Oklahoma needs a win today and a win tomorrow to get to the Supers. Skip Johnson led this bunch from Norman to the 2022 College World Series.
So the national championship game.
Yep. Wound up the finalist that year. So here's Willis hitting out of the 9 spot, 2 for 3 with a single and a homer. 2 on, nobody out. Sooners up 2. The pitch shows bunt. Ball gets away from the catcher, Stevenson, off the top of his glove, and the Sooners don't need the sacrifice. They've got runners at second and third. I'd scored a pass ball, Ben. I don't know about you.
I think so, too. It looked like Stevenson had a pretty good play at the ball, and he just couldn't squeeze it.
If it is a pass ball, it's the 9th on the season for Stevenson. And that forces the infield to come in with the count 1-0 to Dawson Willis. What a spot for Cale Bolton to come into. Still showing bunt is Willis. The pitch. Pulls it back, takes the ball upstairs. 2-0. It is scored a pass ball. A walk, a hit batter, and a pass ball have checkered this inning for Carolina defensively. The Sooners have runners at second and third with no outs and a 7-5 lead in the 7th. Bunt shown, pulled off, and a pitch high and inside makes it 3-0.
Right now, Carolina just needs to worry about throwing strikes.
Harris, your lead runner at third base. Dickerson behind him at second. The infield stays in with the count 3 balls and no strikes to Oklahoma's third baseman. Bolton from out of the stretch. Sends the 3-0. High and tight. Ball 4. He lost him. Bases loaded full of Sooners.
We're going to have a mound meeting here.
Walk to the plate. Coach Gaines out of the dugout. The Sooners left the bases loaded in the 4th. Carolina got out of the 6th against Holy Cross with the Crusaders leaving the bases loaded, and that was with 1 down. This is with nobody out. But the Tar Heels aren't even pitching to contact right now.
Nope.
2 walks and a hit batter. The reason why we're in the situation that is currently laid out in front of us.
Infield's going to stay entirely in here with the bases loaded and nobody out. Walk-off man, or the leadoff man, Walk, is at the plate. And speaking of walk-offs, we got a walk-off home run for Cal Poly over Utah Valley. So Cal Poly will play Arizona for the Eugene Regional Final. Cal Poly has to beat Arizona twice, and Utah Valley is eliminated.
Mound meeting is over. Infield stays in. Walk at the plate, shows bunt from the left side, takes it off, and Bolton laces in a strike to make it 0-1. So we know this. It'll either be Carolina or Oklahoma against Cal Poly or Arizona. The path is beginning to clear. The 0-1. Another strike falls in at the waist. 0-2 the count to Walk, who's doubled, struck out, walked, and grounded out. 1 for 3 in tonight's game. He hits with the bases loaded, nobody down in the bottom of the 7th. Oklahoma up a couple on Carolina, 7-5. Next pitch. And Bolton induces a check swing. That's strike 3, and he gets his man. That affords Carolina the luxury of moving back to play for the double play and maybe get out of the inning.
Huge there by Cale Bolton. Exactly what Carolina needed.
Not a tough route, though, in the lineup than Easton Carmichael, who's next up. He's not gotten a hit today, but he's walked and reached on 2 errors and scored a run. He's 0 for 3. He hits from the right side. Bolton's first pitch, another strike. He stayed with an off-speed pitch, and it's worked 4 times in a row.
Well, I mean, it's what's a strike right now, and Carolina can't afford to walk a guy down 2 with the bases loaded.
Here's the second pitch. Carmichael, he checked this swing and appealed down to first, and how in the world did he not go? Derek Everett certainly hadn't helped Carolina. Not that he should, but a call like that, it looked easy from up here. It's 1-1 to Carmichael.
Wow.
Bolton back to the stretch. The pitch sends a swing and a miss. And it's 1-2. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Oklahoma's got the bases loaded and a 7-5 lead on Carolina. No wind. Plenty of darkness around us. We're under the lights, creeping towards 10 p.m. The 1-2. Bolton fires high, 2 balls and 2 strikes to the catcher who stands in from the right side.
Still all off-speed stuff from Bolton.
Harris reached on a walk. Dickerson hit by a pitch. Willis took a walk. Those are your Sooner base runners. The 2-2. Bolton stays away from him and runs it full, 3-2. No room for error with the count full. And runners at first, second, and third. Oklahoma had a 7-3 lead, cut to 7-5 with the Tar Heels scoring 2 in the top of the 7th. The payoff pitch. That's blooped over second and into right field. It scores 1 and only 1. Good throw by Bass, cut off by Stokely right of the mound. Carmichael with his first hit. It's an RBI single that brings in Harris. And the Sooners lead 8-5. You go back to that appeal down to first base on what could have been a strike 2. It was not. And with 2 strikes later on in the count, Carmichael puts the Sooners back up by 3 runs. The base is still loaded. And Christensen to the plate, 1 for 4 with a single and a run scored. Dickerson at third base. Willis at second. Carmichael, your base runner at first.
And with the shift here, makes a double play unlikely.
First pitch to the lefty. In the zone for a strike. 0-1.
Carmichael, another guy on this OU roster. Dad with OU ties. His dad caught here in 92-93.
The 0-1. Swung past it. And it's 0-2. Yeah, Darby will probably tell you that 1992 and 1993 don't feel that long ago.
Brother Braden pitched here from 21 to 23 and was undrafted but signed with the Colorado Rockies.
The 0-2 lands outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Christensen. Braden would have been on that 2022 College World Series team. That's a place that OU would like to get back to. The Sooners have been to Omaha 11 times. The 1-2. Bouncing ball, foul right side, still 1-2. The Tar Heels angling for their 13th trip to Omaha. These 2 teams have to go through one another just to get to the Supers. Cal Poly or Arizona awaits out of the Eugene Regional. We play on in the bottom of the 7th. Bases loaded, 1 down. Sooners up on the heels, 8-5. Next pitch, got him looking, strike 3. Bolton goes back to the off-speed delivery. And there's 2 down. Willits next up. He's been a tough out. Tar Heels
definitely hasn't been a fan favorite here tonight.
Raining boos down on the switch hitter, Willits, who's in from the left side. His night got off to a tough start, grounding out to second in the first, but a single, a walk, and a 2 RBI double plus a run in the 6th. That's buoyed his hopes. First pitch. Low and away, 1-0. Carmichael's RBI single scored Harris. Carmichael at first, Dickerson at third, Willis in between them at second. 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. The Sooners lead the Heels by 3 runs. K.O. Bolton's 1-0 to the lefty. Outside, 2-0. It's Madera, Bass, and Angelo. 6, 7, and 8 spots due up for Carolina whenever we get to the top half of the 8th. Willits the 7th Sooner to hit this inning. The 2-0. Swung past the fastball. 2-1.
92 there for Cale Bolton. Not bad.
If you're at the plate, you got to guess right. Bolton's fastball, as you said, has been sitting 92. Most of those other off-speed pitches in the low 80s.
Good thing about guessing is you're 50-50. The hard part is both pitches are great.
2-1. Back to the fastball, and another swinging strike evens the count to Willits, 2-2. Cale Bolton. 5th arm out of the pen tonight for Carolina on the mound and in a must-have moment for the Tar Heels in the bottom of the 7th. 8-5 OU. Bases loaded, 2 down, and the all-important 2-2 pitch. Check this swing. Did he go? No. This appeal down to third base. Not near what that other appeal down to first looked like. And it's 3-2.
Yeah, that was definitely a lot less likely that he went around. And now Bolton's got to throw a strike here. 3-2.
Here comes the payoff. Ground ball to first. Stokely gets the glove to it. He races to first base, and the big cat connects. Outrunning Willits. 3 unassisted to end the 7th. And after all of the free bases, only 1 run comes in on 1 hit, no errors. And for the second time tonight, OU leaves the bases loaded. 8-5. Oklahoma's lead is 3, heading towards the 8th. Carolina back to the plate. It's Tar Heel baseball from Learfield.
If you're worried about your rights after suffering an injury, getting peace of mind is as easy as 123. Pick up your phone and dial 919 all fours, or go to lawyernc.com. We'll listen to your story and answer all of your questions during a stress-free discussion of your rights. Finally, if we feel like we can help, we'll offer you representation, and the best thing, it costs you absolutely nothing to learn more. We're ready for your call.
Hardison and Cochran, North Carolina personal injury attorneys, 919 all fours.
Hey Tar Heel fans, this is Dave Nathan, here to remind you that revenue generated from the sale of officially licensed Tar Heel merchandise directly supports both need and merit-based scholarships for Carolina students. Next time you're shopping for your favorite Tar Heel gear, make sure to look for the officially licensed collegiate product label before you buy. This ensures the product has been approved by the university. Be blue and true, buy licensed, fund scholarships, and go Heels.
Along with Ben Mihalovich, I'm Dave Nathan. Bryant Williams pushing all the right buttons back at Learfield Mission Control. Nearing 10 p.m. on a Sunday night, Carolina and Oklahoma duel into the 8th in the Chapel Hill Regional. Tar Heels find themselves down 8-5. The Sooners got a 5 spot in the 6th to take control of this game. But the Tar Heels will have something to say about it in at least the next 2 frames. Madera, Bass, and Angelo due up to see Josh Bowden, who got the Sooners off the field in the 7th. And here we go to begin the 8th. Madera 0 for 3 from the left side. Takes a swing and pelts the first pitch foul. Opposite way, 0-1.
Again, it's the same thing for Carolina, just about base runners, getting guys on and moving them around. There's no bad part of this Carolina order, and the way Bass and Angelo and even Madera have been swinging, it's a good 3 due up.
0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Madera, who struck out, pop foul to third, and grounded to short. Ahmad was 2 for 4 last night against the Sooners with a run and 2 RBIs. The 1-1. High, 2-1, a fastball missed. Tar Heels have gotten the leadoff man aboard just twice tonight. There was the Gallagher home run in the 4th, and French's hit by a pitch in the 7th. Both turned into runs. The 2-1. Fastball sits on the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Tar Heel shortstop. Center fielder walk, shades Madera.
Get the sense that Madera's tired of that outside strike.
The 2-2 from Bowden. Missed low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Carolina pitchers have uncorked 198 pitches through 7 innings tonight.
That's unbelievable.
That's an unruly number. The 3-2. Low and away, Madera takes a walk. This may be how the road back begins. Shields down 8-5 in the 8th and get the leadoff man aboard.
Base runners, however you like it. Here comes Tyson Bass. Everybody talked about after the fall how he was swinging an unbelievable bat for Carolina, and recently we've seen it out of Bass. Now he's going to have to prove himself again, and something to note, Oklahoma in the outfield playing very deep. No doubles defense for the Sooners.
The pitch to Bass. Fastball low and away. 1-0 to Bass. 0 for 2 of the walk. Sooners have scored 6 runs in the last 2 innings and lead 8-5. Madera leads off a first. Throw over has him diving back. And as we head towards 10 p.m., let's pause 10 seconds for a station ID on the Tar Heel Sports Network. The 1-0 pitch to Bass misses, and the curious strike zone.
It looked like a strike, actually.
Tar Heels won't complain about it. 2-0 to Bass with a runner at first and nobody out in the 8th. Pitch called a strike at the knees. 2-1.
We've seen, because Carolina practices taking pitches and tries to memorize the strike zone, the Tar Heels have been a little confused and perplexed tonight. It set them off a little bit.
Next pitch, Bass lines over second, a base hit into center field. Madera advances 90 feet to second base. Bass has his first base hit of the game, and the Tar Heels, for the second consecutive inning, get the first 2 aboard. Remember, back in the 7th, the first 2 came in thanks to Gallagher's 2 RBI double.
And that will be all for Bowden.
That'll get the crowd back into it. Oklahoma goes deeper into its pen with this game in the 8th. Sooners 8, Heels 5. Just the 7th hit of the ball game for Carolina. As our new reliever gets the TSA pat-down treatment down the line in right field. There's a righty trotting in from the bullpen. A giant crimson glove on his left hand. Bowden hands the ball off. And our new man on the mound is Dylan Crooks, senior from out of Euless, Texas, by way of Paris Junior College.
Crooks, so far for Oklahoma, he's actually appeared in this regional. He threw an inning, struck out 1, zeros across the board elsewhere on the season for Crooks. He's got a 1.80 ERA, 2-1 record, 25 appearances, 30 innings pitched, 23 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned, 9 walks, and 32 strikeouts. So certainly one of those high-value relievers for Oklahoma, and the Sooners aren't messing around here, putting him in a big spot, trying to stop the Tar Heels. And looking on the mound, it looks like he's got a Aroldis Chapman-type delivery.
Oklahoma playing for its season. Already beating Nebraska earlier today in an elimination game 17-1. Nebraska out of the Chapel Hill Regional. Only the Tar Heels and Sooners remain. It's as simple as this for Carolina. One more win gets the Tar Heels to the Supers. Oklahoma needs to win tonight and again tomorrow to advance. Either Cal Poly or Arizona awaits out of the Eugene Regional. Oregon, the first national seed to lose and be out of the tournament. That was last night. Utah Valley has also been bounced out on the West Coast. In total, there are 4 national seeds already out of the event, including the top seed, Vanderbilt Commodores, who lost to Wright State earlier today in Nashville. Clemson from the ACC also bounced, and from the SEC, Georgia. We already know Tennessee and Wake Forest will play tomorrow for a spot in the Super Regionals in Knoxville.
After the day he had yesterday, Angelo is a pretty good guy to have up to the plate today. Hasn't gotten it done so far today, but the way he's swinging a hot bat feels like it might be his time. Good speed on the bases, too, for the Heels.
Lead runner at second, Madera. Bass behind him at first. The pitch to the lefty, Angelo. Low and inside, 1-0 to Big Sam. Flied out to end the second, grounded out to end the fourth, hit into a double play that ended the 6th. We're in the 8th. Oklahoma 8, Carolina 5. Lights are on, darkness surrounds us in Boshemer Stadium. The 1-0. Angelo, pitch to hit. tanks one deep, but foul down the line and right. Wow.
Whew. He just barely missed clocking that foul pole, too.
That would have been a moment. All it does is ramp up this Tar Heel fan base once again. Folks rise out of their seats cheering on Angelo with the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. No outs in the 8th. Heels down 3. Crooks comes set. The pitch, fastball, rides outside, 2-1.
So much talent here in Crooks. He was drafted by the Cardinals in 2022, or no, rather, that was his brother Jimmy drafted, but a talented family here. Fastball sits around 95 like we just saw there. 14 saves for Crooks, tied 3rd in the nation.
2 balls and a strike, the count to Angelo. Next pitch, fastball. Screams over the outside corner, taken, and it's 2-2. There has not been a whisper of a breeze tonight. Those flags atop the batter's eye and center haven't moved. Temperatures continue to plummet into the 60s just after 10 o'clock. The 2-2. Upstairs, 3-2. It's 66 degrees down on the field. It might as well be 166. That's the kind of heat that these two teams are dealing with right now. Payoff pitch. Crooks fires. Angelo swings and lobs it foul. These two battle on in an 8-5 game in the 8th, led by Oklahoma. The Tar Heels got a leadoff walk from Madera, currently positioned at second base. Bass moved him over on a single earlier. Crooks, that right arm dangling as he gets the sign from Carmichael. Comes set and delivers. Angelo racks another pitch foul the other way. Still 3-2. Sam takes a lap around the plate. Takes the glasses off, repositions them on his face.
I think his goggles are foggy down there. He's probably breathing so heavily.
Stands back in from the left side. What a moment for the first-year Tar Heel, getting his first taste of NCAA tournament baseball. The 3-2, Angelo hits that sky-high left side. Will it get to the seats? Will it stay in play? It's a row deep, and Angelo will see at least one more pitch.
Man, that barely got into the seats there, Dave, but
that's in the Larry Gallo high rent district, third base side.
For first-class viewers of this game, none better than Larry Gallo.
These fans are up and at 'em. 8-5 Sooners in the 8th. 2 on, nobody out. Another payoff pitch from Crooks to Angelo. Fouled off. That's to the screen. Angelo takes those glasses off, wiggles them a little bit. If you're hard of sight, you know what he's doing. Those things can get fogged up. Everybody standing in Chapel Hill. I mean everybody on their feet. The anticipation builds for another payoff pitch between these two. It's inside, and it's ball 4.
That's a phenomenal at-bat.
And it's bases loaded full of Tar Heels as Angelo claps on his way down to first base, gets a high five from Coach Jackson.
Coach Forbes is asking right now to either Coach Jackson or Angelo if he should get wheels, and right now they're going to stick with Angelo in the game. Perry Hargett is holding a helmet down in the dugout, and Hargett's going to have to hold on a little longer. I think Carolina wants Angelo's bat in the game and is going to wait to see what French and maybe Kepley do here.
Does French dare think about putting down a suicide squeeze? Here's the pitch. It's low, 1-0. French 0 for 2 with a run scored. He was hit by a pitch back in the 7th. He scored, and he's back at the plate in the 8th with the Heels down 8-5. Bases loaded, nobody out in the Chapel Hill Regional. Crooks sets to fire the 1-0. Outside, 2-0 to French.
Good speed and Bass on second. Obviously, Madera on third as well. And here comes another mound meeting.
Carter French, 1 for 3 against Holy Cross, 1 for 4 with an RBI last night against these Oklahoma Sooners, who have let Carolina hang around. 2 walks this inning, a single by Bass. The bases are loaded, and the Tar Heels huddle up left of the Argyle strip in front of their own dugout, third base side, looking to draw closer. Angelo nearly tied it with a foul ball. It was sailing well beyond the foul pole and right before he took a walk.
He's explaining to Kepley in French right now what kind of pitches he saw, and he was pointing out towards that foul pole, maybe saying, hey, if you guys could deposit one just left of that foul pole out there, that would do us some good.
Postseason baseball at its finest, unraveling in real time on Bryson Field. The mound meeting is over. The Heels huddle breaks up, and play set to resume with the count to French, 2 balls and no strikes. Madera at third, Bass at second, Angelo at first. The infield plays back as Crooks comes set from the first base side of the mound. The pitch, fastball for a strike.
And probably a smart take by French. Make sure Crooks can throw a strike to you, and good use of the mound visit there.
2-1 to the Tar Heels left fielder. Crooks ready to fire the next pitch, and French sends it sailing foul left side, 2-2. Next offering from Crooks to French. It's inside. Ball 3, the count is full.
That was exactly the same pitch that Angelo saw on ball 4.
Both those pitches missed by millimeters. And here we go, the all-important payoff pitch from the righty to the lefty. French swung past a fastball, and down he goes. Strike 3.
Huge punch out there for Crooks.
It was big. The moment grows for Kane Kepley. He's 2 for his last 2 with a single in the 5th, a double in the 7th. He scored 2 of Carolina's 5 runs. He's been on base 3 times tonight.
And with an out, Coach Forbes is going to run now for Sam Angelo. Reese Holbrook coming into the game.
Holbrook entered late last night when he pinch ran in the 7th after Angelo took a walk, and he came around to score. Crooks and Kepley to face off inside Bossamer Stadium in the top of the 8th. Our score reads Oklahoma 8, Carolina 5. The Tar Heels had a brief lead at 3-2 after 5. OU put up a 5 spot in the 6th and has had the lead ever since. Initial offering to Kepley. Outside, 1-0. Sooners have left 11 runners on base and have twice left them loaded. The Tar Heels have committed a couple of errors that have led to some OU offense that was unnecessary. The 1-0. Kepley takes a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Tar Heels center fielder, who's 2 for 4 in total tonight. He's got 3 hits in the Chapel Hill Regional after going hitless against Holy Cross on Friday. The 1-1 from Crooks. Kepley turns and hits a fly ball into left field. Gamble underneath it. It's not deep. Madera tags from third.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
And will stay put. That's 2 outs in the inning. And the Tar Heels turn to Jackson Vanderbrake to try to turn this game around. Coach Forbes said it the other day before this event got started. This is not a team that's used to counting outs. For those that do like the math, the Heels down to their final 4 outs if Oklahoma continues to lead 8-5.
Have to have some runs here, though, does Carolina. Can't leave them loaded.
Vanderbrake is 1 for 4 with a single. The pitch at the letters for a called strike.
It's the first time I think that Crooks has gotten ahead of a guy.
Here's the 0-1 from the righty to the righty. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The count to Vanderbrake. Crooks came in with 2 aboard. He promptly walked Angelo after a great battle between those two. Struck out French and got Kepler to fly out to shallow left. It's 2 out. Sacks packed. Sooners up 3 in the 8th. The 1-1. Vanderbrake lifts it foul and out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. OU's got Gamble, Branch, and Harris, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, due up in the bottom of the 8th. Tar Heels just assume play ball for a while here in the top half of the inning and slice into this OU 8-5 advantage.
Have to have runs here.
The 1-2 from Crooks. And it's outside. Just outside. 2-2. What a take from Vandy.
Really tough take there from Vanderbrake. That is not a pitch that most guys are comfortable taking.
The 2-2. Ball 3. Same spot.
That looked a little more outside than the last one, actually.
So with the lefty at the plate, those pitches barely missed inside. And with the righty at the plate, Vanderbrake has taken 2 very brave pitches just outside the zone. The count is full. And a lot rides on this next one.
Can't look for a walk.
It's on the way. Runners take off. Vanderbrake sends a fly ball to right field. Harris is underneath it, and Harris makes the catch. Carolina cannot convert, and the bases are left loaded in the top half of the 8th. Score remains Oklahoma 8, Carolina 5. Sooners back to the dish when we come back from Lear Field.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Dave Nathan and Ben Mihaljevic back on a Sunday night in Chapel Hill that's seen Oklahoma hold on to an 8-5 lead into the bottom half of the 8th. The Tar Heels just had the bases loaded with nobody out, but a strikeout and 2 fly balls in the inning. And OU's 3-run lead is safe, at least for another half inning. Cale Bolton still on the mound for Carolina. Gamble, Branch, Harris due up for the Sooners, who have to win tonight if their season is to continue. The Tar Heels are the only team in Chapel Hill yet to lose a game in this event. Holy Cross and Nebraska have already headed home. Their season's complete. The Tar Heels can get to the Supers with a win tonight, but they're going to have to come back to get it done. Down 8-5 in the bottom half of the 8th.
I think it was 8-5, almost exactly a year ago today in the bottom of the 9th when Gavin Gallagher came through with a walk-off grand slam.
First pitch high to the lefty, Gamble, and it's 1-0. Of these 8 runs that OU has scored, 3 have been earned. The Tar Heels have given OU extra chances, and the Sooners have made the Heels pay. The 1-0. Missed outside, 2-0. Gamble's 0 for 3 with a walk. He was thrown out trying to score in the 6th. That was the third and final out. It limited the damage to 5 runs that came in that all-important OU frame. The 2-0 outside. And it's 3-0. Got to throw strikes.
Something about these OU hitters showing bunt that's maybe throwing the Carolina pitchers off.
Bolton's 3-0 to the lefty. Strike out the letters. 3-1. Going back through the archives, it has been a minute since the Tar Heels have committed multiple errors in a game. Better than a month at Pittsburgh on April the 26th. The 3-1 jolted up into the sky. I mean, a mile high in foul territory, right side. Vanderbrake calls off Stokely, straddling the warning surface and the green AstroTurf. It's the second baseman who brings it down for the inning's first out. Clutch play by Vanderbrake. Not an easy one to make with all that hang time.
Yeah, it looks like Vanderbrake sprinted over there, got there, beat Stokely to the spot, and then told the big fella to get out of the way. A lot of the time, the second baseman will have a better read on the ball because they're coming from behind the play, whereas Stokely, the first baseman, would have had to run backwards, and that gets all awkward with the way the ball can be spinning.
This is Branch next up. He shows bunt, takes a ball outside from the right-handed batter's box. It's 1-0. Branch has grounded out, walked and scored, flied out, and driven in a run with a single. The 1-0. A little tall, and it's 2-0 to Branch. Oddly enough, in that Pittsburgh game, the Tar Heels lost 4-2. Aiden Houck was the starter. 3 of Pittsburgh's 4 runs were earned, so a little bit of a difference maker with that unearned run. Next pitch, grounded the other way to second. Vanderbrake on the fringe of the outfield grass. Scoops it up, slides and throws, gets Branch 4-3. Second baseman on second baseman crime for the second out in the 8th. OU 8, Carolina 5, and Harris next up.
Give Cale Bolton credit. He's been a calming figure here on the mound for the Tar Heels. Come in. He's gotten his job done.
Carolina has run through Houck, Shimoleski, Johnson, Boaz, Seagraves, and currently Bolton on the mound tonight. Stevenson, Gallagher, Stokely due up in the 9th. That much we know. First pitch. Hammered to deep right. Bass back, looks up, and OU's got insurance. Deshaun Harris, with just his second home run this year, scorches one over the right field wall towards the field hockey stadium. And he scores for the 3rd time, giving OU a 9-5 lead late in the 8th.
Bolton left one out over the middle of the plate. Looks like he's lost some velo on his fastball. Just 89 now as opposed to the 92 he was throwing earlier in the game. And Harris did not miss.
Harris has got 3 consecutive multi-hit games after not playing in the first matchup against Nebraska on Friday. 9-5. OU leads Carolina in the 8th with 2 down and the bases clear. Dickerson looks at a pitch low from Bolton. And it's 1-0. So the road back for Carolina just got a little rockier. Not that it can't happen. Carolina's come from down 4 a couple of times this year, but not in a situation like this. The 1-0. Up and in, 2-0. Heels were down 4 early this year against VCU in the 3rd before coming back to win. And then Elon was up 9-5 on the Tar Heels after 6. That was one of 2 games where the Tar Heels trailed after 6 and came back to win. The other was against Boston College in the ACC tournament. The 2-0. Swing and a miss on the elevated fastball. 2-1 the count to Dickerson. Carolina left the bases loaded last time they were at the plate. Couldn't score a run. The 2-1. Belted foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dickerson.
And even if Carolina had gotten just 1 there, in the top of the 8th that still makes a 3-run deficit now a little more manageable. 4 becomes awfully tricky.
How about this? Each one of these bottom third of the order guys for OU has hit a home run tonight. Harris, Dickerson, and Willis have all gone yard. The 2-2. Outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Should Dickerson reach, Willis would be next. Dickerson 1 for 3 with the home run. He was also hit by a pitch. 9-5, Oklahoma leads in the 8th with nobody on and 2 away. Bolton comes set and delivers the payoff pitch. Sock foul, still 3-2. This game was originally slated for 6 o'clock. Weather delayed us to 6:37.
Even then, it's been a long game.
Neither team scored until OU got on the board in the bottom of the 3rd, and then all of a sudden the offense opened up. A total of 14 runs tonight. The next 3-2. That's another foul ball. Tar Heels and Sooners combined for 16 runs last night. The Tar Heels won 11-5. OU's been involved in some high-scoring games, outscoring Nebraska 17-1 this afternoon. Sooners have scored 26 runs in a little less than 2 games today. The payoff pitch again. Settles inside and high. Ball for Dickerson down to first base. He reaches for the 3rd time as Bolton issues his 2nd walk.
Coach Forbes, I think, will just ride with Cale Bolton here. I mean, at this point in the game, if you get the comeback, great. But if not, you don't want to burn another pitcher. It's looking more and more like we have a Game 7 tomorrow.
If we do, it'd be the 2nd year in a row. The pitch to Willis. Off speed and outside to the righty. 1-0. Last year, the Tar Heels had to come back and defeat LSU 4-3 in 10 innings to emerge from the Chapel Hill Regional, swept West Virginia, and got to Omaha. The 1-0. That's popped up high and foul. Out of play, 1-1. Willis has homered, singled, flied out, and walked. 2 for 3 in the game. He's been on base 4 times. OU leads 9-5 in the 8th with 2 outs. And Dickerson at first just drawing the bases on balls. The 1-1. Off speed and a little high, 2-1.
I think the story of tonight for Carolina will be the inability to throw strikes and what that might lead to. And even if it doesn't lead to walks directly, it still leads to hitters' counts and less favorable pitches for the pitcher.
2-1 across the face of Willis. Ball 3. You can't discount the errors either.
Absolutely.
Carolina's been so good in the field this year. A couple of boots today and 5 unearned runs. The 3-1. Another big fly. That's to left field. French is back at the track, finds the wall, and finds the ball. A long out sends us to the 9th. The Sooners get 1 run on 1 hit and strand a runner in the bottom of the 8th. OU up 4, 9-5. Carolina needs to make it happen now from Learfield.
Quality, affordable, dependable. The characteristics that have built the foundation for B&T Heating and Air Conditioning since opening its doors in 1988. B&T Heating and Air Conditioning is proud to serve communities across the Raleigh-Durham area from right here in Chapel Hill to anywhere in between. To schedule your heating, whole house generator, or electrical service or tune-up, visit their website at bntheatingandair.com. B&T Heating and Air Conditioning, generators and electrical. Family owned and doing it right the first time, every time.
On game day, there's nothing like tailgating, touchdowns, and Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea goes down smooth and tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, and a 5% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Carolina baseball is presented all season long by Hardison and Cochran. Injured and have legal questions? Call Hardison and Cochran, 919-ALL-4s.
It has come down to this in the top of the ninth. Oklahoma leads Carolina 9-5. The Sooners have gotten 7 runs in the last 3 innings to take control of tonight's game. The Tar Heels left the bases loaded in the 8th, have committed 2 errors, have allowed 5 unearned runs, and have uncorked 220 pitches tonight. It's been a bad day to have a bad day, but it's still not over and done with, as the Tar Heels have Stevenson, Gallagher, and Stokely due up against Dylan Crooks on the mound for the 26th time this year. He saved 14 games. ERA sits under 2. Oklahoma thinks they've got this one measured up pretty well to come back and play tomorrow. And if we do, we don't know exactly when that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Crooks, he's starting on 25 pitches here, and who knows how many Carolina makes him throw today. But the fact of the matter is Oklahoma needs to make sure it gets these 3 outs, and Crooks is the best guy to do it. And even if he gets to 40 pitches, it's all hands on deck tomorrow, and I'd imagine we'd see him again.
First pitch to Stevenson. Slow bouncer towards first base, rolling towards the bag, and with his foot on the bag, Christensen gloves it, and the out recorded. 1 away. That is a slow start for the Tar Heels in the 9th. Here's Gallagher, who's done absolutely nothing slow tonight, homering, doubling twice, driving in 4 runs and scoring 1 as the Tar Heels trail 9-5.
I think Oklahoma's just glad nobody's on base this time with him up.
Gavin had a career-best 4-hit night last night. First pitch, fastball right over the top and in the zone for a strike. 0-1 as we creep towards a 4-hour contest. This one got started at 6:37. It's almost 10:30. The 0-1. Fastball wide and only by a bit. 1-1 to Gallagher with 1 down and nobody on. We're in the top of the 9th. Carolina in comeback mode, down 9-5. Still some fans lingering around waiting to see if the Heels can make it interesting. The 1-1 skips by the catcher and to the screen, 2-1. Just go back to that first regional game last year against Long Island. Again, a very different opponent, but a similar type of situation. The Tar Heels needed 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th to win that game 11-8. The 2-1. There's a hot shot on a couple of hops to second base. Branch gets to it and throws out Gallagher for the second out of the inning. And it all comes down to Hunter Stokely.
Even when he's out there, he hits the ball hard.
Yeah, the exit velo on that had to be in triple figures. A lot of people might forget Long Island scored 4 runs in the top of the 9th.
Right. Carolina had that game won.
Heels were up 5-4 after 8.
Carolina got the 2 outs it needed before Long Island scored.
Heels were down 8-5 entering the bottom of the 9th and yet found a way to win. First pitch to Stokely. Line drive to second base, right to Branch, and the game ends on that note. Oklahoma survives 2 elimination games today and extends its stay in Chapel Hill. Game 7, the if necessary game, is all of a sudden very necessary. Carolina and Oklahoma will play one more time for a spot on the Supers tomorrow at a time yet to be determined. Final score, OU 9, Carolina 5. We're back with postgame after this from Learfield.
Need to refresh your UNC gear? Visit the new off-campus Tar Heel Team Store located at 120 East Franklin Street in the heart of Chapel Hill. Open Tuesday through Sunday, we offer an enhanced in-person shopping experience and carry the latest designs from Nike, Jordan, Peter Millar, and more. Stop by for an official Nike replica jersey with your favorite Tar Heels name and number. The Tar Heel Team Store is your one-stop shop for all things UNC. Mention code Carolina Baseball and receive 10% off your purchase. Exclusions apply.
When you're getting ready for the big game, make sure you have plenty of Hampton Farms peanuts on hand. Hampton Farms is based in North Carolina, just like the Tar Heels, and they specialize in producing only the highest quality, fresh roasted, in-the-shell peanuts and snacks. In addition, peanuts are one of the healthiest snacks around. They are naturally low in carbs and high in protein. So before the next game, head to your favorite store's produce department and grab a bag of Hampton Farms in-the-shell peanuts, the official peanuts of the Tar Heels. This season, enjoy the winning combination of Tar Heel baseball and peanuts, grown right here in the Tar Heel State. The peanut farmers of North Carolina are proud to support the Diamond Heels again this year and remind you that peanuts are delicious and nutritious, high in protein, and contain zero cholesterol. Peanuts are a healthy snack that can be enjoyed on the go, at home, or while you're cheering on the Heels.